So good morning to all of you students. Today we are going to start with your direct tax part, and as already we had completed, we guys have completed everything in your for your June attempt. So what we are trying to do, what institute is trying to do, try to revise all the chapters, all the notes, all the questions as much as we can try. सो हम लोग क्या करेंगे यहाँ पे चैप्टर वाइज थोड़ा मैंने आप लोगों के लिए ब्रेकअप करके रखा है राइट. सो फर्स्ट डे ईयर वी विल बी स्टार्टिंग विथ योर इनकम फ्रॉम हाउस प्रॉपर्टी, income from salary part, then income from other sources part. Just 1 minute, student, just 1 minute. Okay, so हाँ हम लोग स्टार्ट करेंगे. सबसे पहले तो आप लोगों का introduction to tax chapter, then we will go to the residential status and scope of total income chapter, then we will go to the income from house property, then we will go to the income from salary, then we will go to the income from other sources. Okay, then we will also try to cover like small sums related to your objective part or sum of sums which is important to all of you from these chapters for today. Then at the end of the lecture, before 12 for 15 to 20 minutes, I will try to clear out all your doubts and everything. And for tomorrow's lecture, we will continue with business and profession and capital gain. And on Friday, that is on third day, the remaining part related to your like deduction chapter, related to your tax calculation, related to your advance tax, related to your interest factor and TDS factor, we will try to cover it. Okay, so let's begin with the lecture. Let's begin with your first topic, introduction of tax. Okay, so whenever you're studying any kind of subject, you should know some of background about that subject. You should know some basic knowledge about that subject. Okay, for example, someone asks you what do you mean by tax. You're studying about direct tax, you're studying about indirect tax in inter, in final, even in your graduation, even in your post graduation. What do you understand by term called tax? Okay, so first we will be explaining tax. Means tax is a price which we pay to the government to civilized society. This definition has been given by Justice Hormuz in the year 1860. Justice Hormuz was the Chief Justice of US Supreme Court. He was the Chief Justice of US Supreme Court, USA Supreme Court. He rightly said that tax is a price which we pay to the government to civilize the society. It means tax एक type का price है जो हम लोग government को pay कर रहे हैं. हम लोग government को pay क्यों कर रहे हैं? To civilize the society. फॉर एग्जाम्पल इन रिटर्न गवर्नमेंट हम लोगों को रोड्स बना के दे रहे, ब्रिजेस बना के दे रहे, पुलिस स्टेशन हो गया आपका, पूरा रॉ एंड ऑर्डर हो गया, फिर क्लीन अप इंडिया के हिसाब से, स्वच्छ भारत के हिसाब से, जो भी गवर्नमेंट ने आप लोगों को फैसिलिटीज प्रोवाइड किया. कभी भी हम लोगों ने सेपरेटली जाके पुलिस स्टेशन में कुछ पेमेंट किया है? हम लोगों ने कभी कोई रोड के लिए सेपरेटली कुछ पेमेंट किया? नहीं. फॉर ऑल दिस सर्विसेज वी पे टू द गवर्नमेंट इज अ टैक्स. So tax is a price which we are paying to the government to civilize this society, to all this development work. Okay, then we will come to about article, we will come to study about the article 265. अगर आप लोगों ने मॉड्यूल के फर्स्ट चैप्टर को कभी सीरियसली रीड किया होगा, इंट्रोडक्शन टू टैक्स करके जो बेसिक कॉन्सेप्ट है आप लोगों का, वहां पे आप लोगों को ये सब डिटेल्स दिया हुआ है. सो आर्टिकल 265 के बारे में दिया है. आर्टिकल 265 देखो क्या बोलता है आप लोगों को. आर्टिकल 265, no tax can be levied or collected unless except authority by law. मतलब तब तक हम लोग किसी के ऊपर टैक्स ना तो अप्लीकेबल कर सकते, ना किसी से टैक्स कलेक्ट कर सकते, जब तक हम लोगों को परमिशन कौन नहीं देता है? अपना कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, मतलब लॉ. मतलब जो भी इनकम टैक्स है, जो भी आप लोगों का जीएसटी है, जो भी आप लोगों का कस्टम ड्यूटी है, ये सब हम लोग चार्ज कर रहे हैं. मतलब ये सब का कहीं ना कहीं हम लोगों को we have got the authorization from the constitution, authorization from the law. Okay, so as per article 265 they have clearly said no tax can be levied or collected unless except authority by law. So it means whatever chargeable, that is like income tax or your GST, is given authority by the Constitution of India in your law. So in your Constitution of India, there is a 7th schedule where all this income tax, GST, custom duty has been mentioned. Okay, so 7th schedule में ही आप लोगों को income tax का भी detail दिया हुआ है. Okay, now your exam will be objective pattern, so there is so much chances to ask all the small things, like from when your income tax act has been commenced, from when your income tax act has been applicable. So everyone can see that कि हम लोगों ने देखा है इनकम टैक्स एक्ट 1961 है. So we keep in mind either 1st Jan होगा या 1st April होगा, whatever, of in the year 1961. This is absolutely correct, absolutely wrong. Income Tax Act 1961 is commenced from 1st April 1962. आप लोगों का इनकम टैक्स एक्ट 1961 कब से स्टार्ट हुआ है? 1st April 1962 से. Okay, now Income Tax Act is applicable to whole India, including the state of Jammu and Kashmir. So everyone knows there was some problem with state of Jammu and Kashmir, but there is no problem with Income Tax Act. So this Income Tax Act is applicable to whole India, including the state of Jammu and Kashmir, including the state of Jammu and Kashmir. Now, as per Act, you will also get rules. For example, in Act they are saying to pay tax. So in which manner we have to pay tax, whether by the cash payment, whether by the check payment, DD, till which date, which form we have to use. So all these things has been given in your rules. Okay. So what about rules, sir? So as your Income Tax Act is applicable from 1st April 1962, same your income tax rules is also applicable from 1st April 1962. Okay, so your Income Tax Act as well as income tax rules both is applicable from 1st April 1962, and both Income Tax Act as well as income tax rules both is applicable to whole India, including the state of Jammu and Kashmir. Now this was some basic knowledge about your tax system in India. Now what do you understand by types of tax? There are how many types of taxes are there? So there are basically two types of taxes are there. Everyone, we all of us know about that. First is your direct tax, second is your indirect tax. As all of you can see, direct tax will be in your group 1, indirect tax will be in your group 2, that is your GST and custom duty part. Okay, so now what do you understand by direct tax, what do you understand by indirect tax? Okay, I will try to cover as much as possible example I can give in this short period of time. So now what do you mean by direct tax, what do you mean by indirect tax? We will do one thing, we will just read out, then I will be explaining by one example. It is an amount of tax by same person earn income paid to the government. Same person earn income paid to the government. For example, मैंने income earn किया. My income is for example 10 lakh rupees. So on this 10 lakh rupees, I will calculate the tax amount and I am going to pay this tax amount to the government. I myself is going to pay tax directly to the government. So this is your direct tax. That was my income, 10 lakh rupees was my income. On that 10 lakh, I am directly going to pay tax to the government. So that is your direct tax. Now, sir, what do you mean by indirect tax? It is an amount of tax paid by manufacturer or service provider to the government and recovered from the customer in the form of price of the product. Okay. For example, we will be taking example of one company, for example, XYZ company. XYZ company is there, they manufacture some particular kind of product. Particular kind of product, for example, they manufacture laptop. So whenever they are manufacturing laptop, whenever the company is removing that laptop from the factory to send to the ultimate retail shop, send to the deliver to the retail shop or to the deliver to the customer, they have to pay certain taxes on it. So on manufacture, for example, they have to pay GST. Okay, so at the time of remover of goods or provision of services, providing of services, they have to pay the GST amount. Okay, they have to pay the GST amount. So कंपनी ने पहले जीएसटी पे किया, राइट? कंपनी ने अपने पॉकेट से गवर्नमेंट को जीएसटी या जो भी आपका टैक्स है, इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स का पार्ट, वो पे किया. Now what company is going to do? Company will sell that product to the customer. and they will charge price from that price of that product from the customer. Now they will charge MRP. MRP means maximum retail price. And whenever you will see in any product maximum retail price, that is MRP, there is clearly mentioned in the bracket inclusive all taxes. So this MRP includes all types of tax. For example, particular laptop has been sold by the company at the price of rupees 50,000, 50,000. Now, on that 50,000, whatever the cost, whatever the profit and everything was there, but actually they had incurred everything 45,000 for that laptop. And for example, 5,000 amount they are paying tax on that laptop. So what the company is doing, XYZ company is doing, company is charging total 50,000 from the customer in the form of price. So in that 50,000, it also includes 5,000 rupees as a tax, as a GST amount. Okay. So now what is happening here? XYZ company has manufactured laptop. They had paid taxes firstly to the government. They had paid taxes firstly to the government. Now that same amount of 5,000 tax they are recovering from the customer. क्या हुआ यहाँ पे? पहले कंपनी ने XYZ ने 5,000 रुपीज अपने पॉकेट से गवर्नमेंट को पे कर दिया. ये पॉकेट से गवर्नमेंट को पे कर दिया. सेम अब कस्टमर से वो 5,000 रिकवर करके सेम अपने पॉकेट में यहाँ पे रख लिया. So here you can see this supplier is the only channel of payment of tax. Actual tax payment has been incurred by the customer. Actual tax payment has been incurred by the customer. Okay. So, but customer is directly paying to the government. No, customer is not paying directly to the government. Customer is paying with the help of the supplier. So customer is indirectly paying to the government. What is happening? Supplier पहले पे करता है गवर्नमेंट को और कस्टमर से रिकवर करते हैं. मतलब किसके पॉकेट से जा रहा है? कस्टमर के पॉकेट से. मतलब इनडायरेक्टली यहाँ पे टैक्स कौन पे कर रहा है? कस्टमर. So that is the reason it is called as indirect tax. In indirect tax, manufacturer or service provider pay tax to the government and recover from the customer in the form of price of the product. So here indirectly customer has paid the tax to the government. This is there. Now, second, you have example of your direct tax and indirect tax. Everyone us, all of us know about it. Direct tax is income tax and wealth tax, and indirect tax is GST and custom duty. Okay. Then now administration part. Who administrate this direct tax? Who administrate this indirect tax? Okay. Now direct tax is administered by the Central Board of Direct Tax, that is CBDT. And indirect tax has been administered by the Central Board of Indirect Tax and Custom. For example, railways है आप लोगों का पूरा. Okay. So railways के लिए Western Railway है, Central Railway है, Indian Railways है. All these people take care of this area very well. एकदम closely they will take care of all these issues related to Western Railway, related to Central. तो same way जो भी हम लोगों का revenue है, that will be that will be recovered by the Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Revenue only. But एक separately department बना है to administrate all this separately. For example, direct tax के लिए department क्या बना है? CBDT. Indirect tax के लिए CBIC. So direct tax is administered by Central Board of Direct Tax, and indirect tax is administered by Central Board of Indirect Tax and Custom. So all the notifications, all the guidelines has been issued related to income tax by the CBDT. Now direct tax is applicable on whom? And indirect tax is applicable on whom? So direct tax is applicable on the person who earn income. Direct tax इसके ऊपर applicable होगा जिसने income earn किया उसके ऊपर आप लोगों का applicable होगा. And indirect tax will be applicable on manufacturer or service provider. For example, government को tax यहाँ पे नहीं मिला तो government customer के पास नहीं आएगा कि अरे they have to pay the tax. So government will directly ask to the manufacturer and service provider where is the tax amount. Reason, government is getting that tax amount from the manufacturer or service provider. Okay. So this ultimately indirect tax is applicable on manufacturer and service provider. Now, on which it is chargeable, on which product or whatever activity you can say on which it is chargeable. So direct tax is chargeable on the income or the property held by the SSC. Whatever income you have earned, whatever property you have, in that this your direct tax will be applicable. एंड इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स विल बी चार्जेबल ऑन योर गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज. आप लोगों ने जो भी गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज सप्लाई किया उसके ऊपर आप लोगों का इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स अप्लीकेबल हो. Now there is a concept called input tax. Input tax concept is will be clear it out in your GST lecture, that is your indirect tax lecture. Now input tax करके कुछ benefit है जिसके वजह से आप लोगों का GST को introduce किया है. That is the major benefit in your GST. So whatever input tax benefit is there, that is in your indirect tax reform, not in direct tax. So this is also one point for your distinguish between. One is your direct tax has no benefit of input tax credit, but indirect tax, yes, indirect tax has a benefit of input tax credit. Now next and last and important I can say, nature of tax. Nature of tax. Direct tax is in progressive in nature, and indirect tax is in regressive in nature. Sir, what do you mean by progressive? What do you mean by regressive? Progressive, for example, in first year of my income, first year of my earning, I have earned for sum of rupees 5 lakh. So I will be paying tax on 5 lakh. In second year, I have earned something around of rupees 10 lakh. So I will be paying tax on 10 lakh. In third year, I have earned something amount of rupees 20 lakh. So I will be paying tax on 20 lakh. So you can see, as your income increases, your taxes also increases. So this is your direct tax, which is progressive in nature. As your income increases, your tax also increases. Okay. For example, there is a person who is earning crores of rupees. He will be paying higher amount of tax. For example, I am earning only 10 lakh rupees per annum. So I will be paying tax on 10 lakh rupees. There is some of students like you, they have no source of income. So you guys will not pay the tax. So you can see in your direct tax reform, there is a distinction between rich and poor person. Rich person has to pay more amount of tax. Poor person has to pay less amount of tax. And the person who have no income have to pay no amount of tax. So that is your direct tax, which is progressive in nature, which is completely progress on the amount of income earned by the SSC. Now, what about indirect tax, sir? So indirect tax is your regressive in nature. Regressive means constant. It does not differentiate between the rich and poor person. Whether you are earning the more income, less income, or no income, you have to pay same amount of tax. For example, we are purchasing some kind of product. We are purchasing some toothpaste costing 25, pricing 25 rupees. जिसका price है 25 rupees. So on that 25, company has charged 5 rupees taxes and 20 rupees related to cost of that particular product. So for example, I am purchasing that product. So I have to pay price of rupees 25. It means even if I have income of rupees 10 lakh, I have paid 5 rupees tax on that product. Same person is there, XY person is there, he is earning crores of rupees. Same product he is purchasing for rupees 25. On that 25, again he will be paying 25 only price for that product, and he will also pay tax amount of rupees 5 only. So here you can see in indirect tax, it is regressive, it is constant to both the peoples, to the rich person as well as the poor person. The rich person is also paying 5 rupees tax, and poor person is also paying the 5 rupees tax. Okay. So this was your introduction of tax system in India. This 2 pages was introduction of tax system in India. Now we will start with your Income Tax Act 1961. Some basic points. We have already seen something around something related to applicability of Income Tax Act 1961. As I had told in starting only, Income Tax Act 1961 is applicable from 1st April 1962, and it is applicable to whole India, including the state of Jammu and Kashmir. And second, I said, income tax rules is also applicable from 1st April 1962, and it is applicable to whole India, including the state of Jammu and Kashmir. Now, there are some terms which has been used by you in your direct tax for the first time. Maybe you guys know about all this meaning, but I will try to cover it in a short, क्योंकि ये ऑब्जेक्टिव्स में पूछने लायक ऐसे ही सब है आप लोगों को. ओके, सो नाउ आप लोगों का बेसिक कॉन्सेप्ट में सबसे पहले पर्सन. व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय पर्सन? So in a general term, we know Mr. A is the person, Mr. B is the person, Mr. C is the person, I am the person, you are the person. But as per income tax, only Mr. A, B, C is chargeable to tax, not the companies, not the partnership firm is liable to pay tax. No, no, no. Everyone is liable to pay tax. So in person definition, they try to cover as much as possible people. Okay. So we can see in your definition, person means individual, HUF, partnership firm, then your LLP. I will just LLP, then your body corporate. Body corporate means company, association of person, body of individual, municipal authority. Municipal authority only means local authority, and as well as your artificial judicial person. Now, individual means all of us are individual. Mr. A, Mr. B, I am, you guys. For example, I'm working in a XYZ company. I'm getting 10 lakh rupees as a salary. So that 10 lakh is my income. I have to pay tax on that 10 lakh rupees. Now, HUF means the family businesses carry on by the descendant or ascendant persons. Family business जो आप लोगों का carry on हो रहा है, that is your HUF. Now, partnership firm, everyone we all know partnership firm, right? Two or more than two partners come together and they start something and they make some partnership deed and all. They start with a partnership firm. Same is LLP. The only difference between partnership firm and LLP about the liability. In partnership firm, liability is unlimited. In LLP, partnership firm is limited. Liability is limited. Now, body corporate means company like XYZ company, ABC limited company, all types of your private limited, public limited, all company has been covered here. Then association of person, body of individual. Association of person means person with a different kind of person having the same common goal, common purpose. For example, any kind of clubs, any kind of fitness club, right? All this example will be covered under the association of person. वहाँ पे different, for example, fitness gym या fitness club ले लो. Different kind of persons are coming for the common purpose, common goal. So that is your association of person. So all these clubs and everything will be covered under the association of person. Then next है आप लोगों का body of individual. So body of individual means for example your trade association and all. जैसे कि आप लोगों का some rickshaw union is there or some kind of taxi union, everything, trade association. So all that will be covered in the body of individual. There is same kind of person coming for same purpose, right? Then municipal authority and local authority. For us, municipal authority, BMC, municipal corporation, then different municipal corporation, TMC, KDMC, everything is there. Then for local, then your panchayat, right? Everything will be covered in your municipal authority and local authority. Now the last point, artificial judicial person, which is very important point to all of you. Maybe they will also ask to give some short detail about artificial judicial person in one line or two line. So artificial judicial person means the person who is created for judicial purpose, artificially created for a judicial purpose so that we can charge tax on it. For example, all the temples, mosques, churches, gurudwaras are covered in the artificial judicial person. Then all the university, like whatever university is there, that is also covered in the artificial judicial person. So this was your definition related to person. Now SSC, SSC का meaning क्या होता है? So SSC means the person who is liable to pay tax to the government. For example, students, I am the person, I am earning only income of rupees 2 lakh. And as all of us know, income tax is chargeable if you are earning more than 2 lakh 50,000. If you are earning more than 2 lakh 50,000. So I'm earning only 2 lakh rupees. So no income tax will be applicable on me. So I am the person, I am the individual person, but I am not the SSC. I'm not the SSC because I'm not paying tax to the government. I'm not liable to pay tax to the government. Second case, I'm earning sum of rupees 10 lakh rupees, sum of 10 lakh rupees. So I am the person, Mr. A, I'm the individual, I'm the person, as well as I have to pay tax to the government. Reason, I have earned more than 2 lakh 50,000. I have earned more than 2 lakh 50,000. So tax is applicable on me. So I am the person as well as I am the SSC. I am the person as well as I am the SSC. Okay. So SSC means that person who is liable to pay tax to the government. अगर आप लोगों का इनकम कम है, आप टैक्स नहीं पे करते, आप पर्सन हो बस. अगर आप लोगों का इनकम अच्छा खासा है, आप लोग टैक्स भी पे करते हो गवर्नमेंट को, तो आप पर्सन एज वेल एज एसएससी दोनों. Now, concept about previous year and assessment year. Previous year concept is also very important to all of you. In exam, they can ask, explain in one line or two line about the previous year. So what do you understand by the previous year? What do you understand by the assessment year? Now, I will try to give as much as possible knowledge about previous year assessment year. First, we will read out whatever given there in your notes. Previous year, it is a year on which income earned and on which tax is payable in the next financial year. That is your assessment year. Previous year can be maximum up to 15 months. And for your current previous year, the 15 months, and your current previous year, I can say, is 2019 and 20. Your current previous year is 2019 and 20. Now, what do you mean by assessment year, sir? It is a year on which taxes payable of previous year. Assessment year starts from 1st April of next financial year of the previous year, that is 2020-21. So your current assessment year is 2020-21. अब मैं आप लोगों को explain करूँ. For example, we are in the financial year 2021. जो आप लोगों का current financial year चल रहा है, that has been started from 1st April 2020 and ended on 31st March 2020, will be ending on 31st March 2021. Now, हम लोगों को पता है क्या 31st जो आप लोगों का 2021 है, how much amount of income we are going to earn? We know about it? We don't know about it. We don't know how much income we are going to earn in 2021. Reason? Because year is not completed. If your year has not been completed, your books of account is incomplete. So you have no idea about your income, you have no idea about your expenses, you have no idea about anything. So for whatever the year your books of account has been completed, so that year you can calculate what amount of income you have earned. For example, in latest, which year is completed? In latest year 2019 and 20 has been completed, which was started in the year 1st April 2019 and up to 31st March 2020 it was, which started on 1st April 2019 and ended on 31st March 2020. So that latest year which has been completed, and you have complete records of books of account of that year. So can you calculate income of that year? Yes, sir, we can calculate income of that year. Because that year has been completed, books of account has been closed, we have complete details about books of account related to the 1920. So that year is your previous year. So जो लेटेस्ट में आप लोगों का ईयर एंड हुआ है ना, दैट इज योर प्रीवियस ईयर. सो इन आवर एग्जांपल, इन आवर attempt, latest year has been completed is 1920, so that your previous year is 1920. Now you will do business, you will start your business from 1st April 2019 and end to 31st March 2020. You need some time to calculate all types of income, to complete your books of account, then pay to the tax, then to make the all audit and everything is there. So so department what they say, ki once you ended with your year, once you ended with your previous year, now go to the next year and start with the procedure for payment of tax. Start with the procedure of calculation of income amount, payment of tax, and filing of return and everything. So the year on which all this calculation has been done, the year on which all the income has been calculated, that is your assessment year. Okay, so students, so for latest our year is completed is your previous year, that is 1920, and the year which is still going on for calculation part of 2019-20 is your 2020 and 21, which is your assessment year. So in short, one time आप लोगों का जो ईयर कंप्लीट हुआ है 1920 वो आपका प्रीवियस ईयर है, जो ईयर आपका चल रहा है 2021, दैट इज वो आप लोगों का असेसमेंट ईयर. ओके, नाउ वन मोर वर्ड आई हैव एडेड हियर. Previous year can assessment year can be of assessment year will be always of 12 months. अगर यहाँ पे mention नहीं है, you just can note down in your notebook if you have. Assessment year can be for 12 months. Assessment year always will be for 12 months only. Now what about previous year? Assessment year, I said it can be only of 12 months, which start from the 1st April. Okay. Now what about previous year? Previous year can be maximum up to 15 months. Again, this is your objective point of view. They can ask Previous year can be maximum up to 15 months. Sir, how can be 15 months? For example, I newly started my business in the month of uh, July, 1st July 2019. So I will start my business from 1st July 2019, which will end on 31st March 2020, right? So July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. So this is for 9 months. Yes, this year can be 9 months also. क्योंकि वहाँ पे minimum time period का limitation नहीं है. Maximum can be 15 months. Minimum can be depends. Okay. So July you started, you ended on 31st July. So it was for 9 months. Second example. We started business on 1st December 2019. So we'll end on 31st March 2020. So December, January, February, March, again for 4 months. Okay, completely fine. Now focus on my example, what I'm giving right now. You started your business on 1st January 2020. You started your business on 1st January 2020. So which will start from 1st January 2020. So income tax provision says whenever you start your business from 1st January onwards or before 31st March, again I am repeating this point. Income tax provision say whenever you start your new business on or after 1st January and before 31st March, so your previous year will be ended in next year's 31st March. Whenever you start your business on or after 1st January and before 31st March, your previous year will end to the next year's 31st March. For example, I started my business in 1st January 2020. मतलब मैं 1st January के start कर रहा हूँ 31st March के पहले. So my previous year will be ended on next year's 31st March. So 1st January 2020, next year will be 2021. 2021 31st March you have to count, right? So now January to December will be 12 months for 2020. Then 2021, January, February, March. So total will be 15 months. So this way your previous year can be maximum up to 15 months. Okay. So this is your previous year, which was very important. Previous year definition was very important. That is the reason I was covering each and everything. Now, what do you understand by income? For example, I am the salaried person. So whatever salary I am receiving, whatever income I am receiving from my job, that is my salary part, that will be my income. Second, I have a house property. I have rented that house property to some other person. So whatever rent I am receiving, that is my income. I have started some kind of business. From business, I am receiving some kind of profit. So that profit will be my income. For example, I started practicing, okay, as a cost accountant. So whatever fees I am receiving in my profession, that will be my income. For example, I have shares and securities. I have sold that all the shares and securities, and I am earning some kind of gain on that sale. I'm using that word gain. Reason, this is your capital assets. Every time we sell on capital assets and earn some amount of profit, so that will be called as gain, not profit. Profit is called in day-to-day business. On gain is called on whatever the investment or capital assets you have sold. So you have earned some gain on sale of investment. Okay, so that will be in your again, that is your income. So I have some shares and securities. I am receiving dividend from it. I am receiving interest from it. That is also your income. So you are receiving some royalty from books you have written. That is also your income part. Okay, so this was your income. Now, what do you mean by India? India definition is also very, very, very important. Okay. Now, all of us, we know about the structure of India. India has a 28 states and 8 union territories. Okay. Now, as per waterways, as per the airspace, till where your India includes. Okay. So this line is very, very, very important, I can say, for the objective students. Every time, whenever you will see, there will be either one in a two attempts, they will ask about this objective. Indian territorial water extend up to what? Extend up to dash. So Indian territorial water extend up to 12 nautical miles. Some of students might be thinking, sir, what do you mean by nautical miles word? Nautical miles, how we calculate kilometers on road. So same way on waterways, we calculate with the help of nautical miles. Okay. So Indian territorial water is extend up to 12 nautical miles. So India का जो territorial water है, India is up to 12 nautical miles. Okay. Now there are some seabed area and contingent shelf. This is all related to oil refinery. Okay. So seabed area is up to 12 to 24 nautical miles, and contingent shelf is beyond 24 nautical miles and up to 200 nautical miles. Okay. So this is all important for your objectives. Okay. So this was your definition of India. Okay. So this is high seas area what I have given. This is beyond your 200 nautical miles. मतलब 200 nautical miles के आगे. So on your high seas area, there is no income tax, no GST, no tax reform will be chargeable. Only last to last, your tax reform will be chargeable up to 200 nautical miles. That is contingent shelf. Beyond 200 nautical miles, no tax reform will be chargeable. Okay. Now, this was your second topic, basic concept or introduction of income tax at 1961. Our next topic is residential status, as all of you know about it, but still we will try to cover it. Okay. Now, why we calculate the residential status, students? Why we calculate the residential status? First, in India, income tax is payable on two bases. We pay tax on two bases. Okay. First is on your residential status basis. Second is your source of income. Second is your source of income. Okay. So, for example, I am a resident of India. I am the resident of India. Rushi, Shawan, please check. There has been amendment. There is 28 states and 8 union territories. Earlier it was 29 state or 7 union territories. Now you can check in internet. You can Google it. It is 28 state and 8 union territories. Okay. Chalo, I am covering with your residential status now. Why we calculate residential status? Okay. So we calculate residential status reason. Tax is charged on two basics. First is residential status. Second is source of income. So residential status means आप लोग इंडिया के रेसिडेंट हो कि नहीं, whether you are a resident of India or not. Okay. If you are a resident of India, for example, you are an Indian resident, whatever income you are earning, whether in India, whether outside India, or any country, that amount will be chargeable to tax in India. That amount will be chargeable to tax in India. Reason, you are a resident of India. You are a resident of India, you have to pay tax in India. Okay. So if you are a resident of India, then whole whatever income you are chargeable, whatever income you are earning, that will be taxable in India. Okay. Just 1 minute, students. I am adjusting to all of you. Just a minute. Now, is it fine? As some students said to Zoom. Is it fine, students? Okay. So one on residential status basics, second on your source of income basics. अगर मैं इंडिया का resident आया, if I am a resident of India, whatever income I am earning in India as well as outside India will be chargeable to tax in India. Second, source of income. Source of income. That source of income part will be applicable when you are a non-resident of India. When you are a non-resident of India. So whenever you are the non-resident of India, then we will check your source of income. Then we are going to check your source of income. Whether your source of income that you have earned this income from India or not. If you have earned this income from India, yes, you have to pay tax in India. So the income tax is chargeable on two bases. First, on residential status. Second, source of income. If you are a resident of India, whatever amount you are earning in any single country, you have to pay tax in India. Second, source of income. If you are a non-resident of India, okay, so whatever income you have earned, whatever income as source of income from India, that will be chargeable for tax. ठीक है. अब कभी भी आप लोगों को रेसिडेंशियल स्टेटस स्टार्ट करना, you have to go through this basic notes I have given. Okay. First point, citizenship, passport, visa is irrelevant for computation of residential status of SSC, right? So what you are a citizen of XYZ, for example, India, you have an Aadhaar card of India, you are a passport of India, you have visa of India. So it doesn't mean you are the resident of India. Citizenship and residential status, these two things are completely different. These two things is completely different. See, I will try to explain. Citizenship, you are a citizen of which country? Residential status means you are a resident of which country? सिटीजनशिप का मतलब हुआ आप किस देश के नागरिक हो, नागरिक. एंड रेसिडेंशियल स्टेटस मीन्स आप किस देश के रहने वाले हो. सो देयर इज अ बिग difference between these 2 points. There are so many people, if you see, they have an Aadhaar card, they have a passport from India, but they have been staying in a different countries. For example, Dubai, for example, USA, for example, UK, XYZ countries. So they are a citizen of India, no doubt, but they are not a resident of India. Reason? Residential status is not calculated on the basis of citizenship, on the basis of your passport, on the basis of visa. Residential status is always calculated, computed on the basis of number of days stay in India. So you can see given in the second point, only number of days stay in India will be counted for computation of residential status of SSN. So whether you are a resident or non-resident of India, you have to check with number of days stay in India. आपको हमेशा चेक करना है नंबर ऑफ डेज आप लोग कहाँ पे कितना इंडिया में थे, उसके हिसाब से आप लोगों को पता चलेगा yes you are a resident or a non-resident. Now students, third point is also very important. Date of arrival and date of departure includes in India. Now students, arrival means you have arrived to the India. Departure means you have departed from India. Sir, what do you trying to explain this term? So I'm trying to explain the date on which you have arrived in India, the date on which you have departed from India. Okay, so that will be included in India. For example, today's date is 4th of November 2020. Students, so on 4th of November 2020, late night 11:55 p.m. Late night 11:55 p.m. I have landed, I have arrived in India from USA. I have arrived in India from USA. Just for 5 minutes, I am saying. Just for 5 minutes on 4th November, I am in India. Just for 5 minutes. Okay. But still, this 4th November will be counted complete day in India. Complete day in India. Reason, date of arrival includes in India. Second point, for example, 4th November early morning 4 a.m. flight I have taken to depart to the USA. I'm going to the USA. So just for 4 hours I was in India, but still full day of 4th November will be counted in India. Reason, in provision they have clearly mentioned date of arrival and date of departure includes in India. The date when you have arrived, date when you have departed from India will be completely included in India. Okay, this is there. Now we will start with your basic condition part. As I clearly mentioned, you have to ignore the citizenship part. You have to only and only check with number of days whether he was satisfying or not in India. Okay, so how to start with this basic condition number of days part? Now you have first your basic condition which is given in your section 6 subsection 1. Basic condition section 6 subsection 1. Always try to make your presentation very well. Try to uh, cut and all in very less manner. Okay. So now you have one column related to particular, second column related to number of days, and third column related to your condition satisfied or not. Okay, this is your basic condition. Okay, now same way we also have your additional condition part. Okay, so there also we have the exclusion part. So I will try to cover everything as much as simple manner. Okay, first we will go with your basic condition. Okay, now what is your basic condition, student? Basic condition is section 6 subsection 1 given that if, just a minute students, just a minute. Basic condition is given section 6 subsection 1, point A and point B. You have 2 points, point A and point B. Okay, and what I have mentioned in point A and B is or. There is a word A, subsection A, subsection C actually it is. So either A should to be satisfied or C should to be satisfied. And what I have mentioned between the A and C is or. So what do you understand by this term called or? It means either you have to satisfy with point A or you have to satisfy with point C. Either you have to satisfy with subsection A or you have to satisfy with subsection C. Okay. सो ए और सी आइदर ऑफ, दोनों सेटिस्फाई होना जरूरी नहीं, दोनों में से कोई ए. सो फर्स्ट यू विल चेक विद ए. सो व्हाट योर ए पॉइंट सेज, ए पॉइंट से stay for 182 days or more in India in previous year 2019 and 20. So as per subsection A basic condition, minimum to minimum in your previous year 2019 and 20 you have to stay in India for 182 days. Minimum how many days? 182 days. If anyone is thinking, sir, why 182 only? Please take your calculator. How many days are there in a year? 365. Type 365. Divide by 2. 365 divide by 2. How much you're getting? You're getting 182.5. It means on an average, income tax provision wants you to stay minimum half year in India. That is 182 days in India. Okay. So 182 days or more in India in previous year 1920. This is your point A. If you satisfied with point A, you are a resident, done with your basic condition. If you are not satisfied with point A, we have to check with point C, subsection C. Now what subsection C says, there are 2 points in subsection C, 1 and 2, and between the 1 and 2 there I have written and. So what do you understand by that term called and? So whenever you are checking with subsection C, you have to satisfy with 1 as well as 2. 1 as well as 2. Okay. So 1 says minimum to minimum you have to stay in previous year 1920 in India for 60 days. 60 days, minimum 60 days, as well as 365 days in 4 immediately preceding previous year, as well as minimum 365 days in 4 immediately preceding previous year. Now all of you might be thinking, what do you mean by 4 immediately preceding previous year? Now 4 immediately preceding previous year means your previous year is 1920. So will not count previous year 1920. Previous year 1920 लिख के cancel किया. Now we will go to the 4 immediately previous years, that is 1819, 1718, 1617 and 1516, right? So whatever your previous year is there, उसको लिख के cancel करो और 4 साल पीछे जाओ. 18, 19, 17, 18, 16, 17, 15, 16. ये 4 साल के टोटल में minimum to minimum you have to stay in India for how many days, students? 365 days. Minimum to minimum for how many days? 365 days. Okay. Then you are satisfying with point 2 of subsection C. Okay. Again I am repeating. Basic condition point A satisfy, you are a resident, done. If you are not satisfied with point A, go for point C. In point C, 1 and 2 both should to be satisfied. This is there. Okay. Now we will go to the additional condition point. Okay. Now what is, we will be checking with examples also, students, don't worry at all. First we will cover it the provisions. Now additional condition, what is given in your additional condition, students? So in additional condition, first we will read with your notes when your additional condition will be applicable. Okay. So additional condition will be applicable if SSA is satisfied, if SSC will be applicable if SSC is satisfied basic condition, or only if SSC is a resident of India, only if SSC is a resident of India. Okay. If SSC is not satisfied with basic condition, and if is a non-resident, then additional condition will not be applicable. What is given in this point? Additional condition will be applicable only if you are satisfying with basic condition. If you are satisfying with basic condition, then only your additional condition will be applicable. If you are not satisfying with basic condition, then your additional condition will not be applicable. अगर आप लोगों ने बेसिक कंडीशन सेटिस्फाई किया तो ये एडिशनल एप्लीकेबल होगा. अगर बेसिक कंडीशन सेटिस्फाई नहीं होता, एडिशनल एप्लीकेबल नहीं. Now in second point, what they are trying to explain, if SSC is satisfying basic as well as additional condition, then SSC will be called as resident and ordinary resident of India. Resident and ordinary resident of India. Okay. Now if SSC is satisfying with basic condition but fail to satisfy with additional condition, then SSC will be called as resident and not ordinary resident. Resident and not ordinary resident. मतलब अगर SSC ने बेसिक और एडिशनल दोनों सेटिस्फाई किया, अरे ये रेसिडेंट एंड ऑर्डिनरी रेसिडेंट. If he is satisfying basic but fail to satisfy with additional, then he will be called as resident and not ordinary. Okay. Now what is given in your additional condition? Okay. आप लोगों के एडिशनल कंडीशन में देखो क्या दिया है, सेक्शन 6 सबसेक्शन 1 एडिशनल कंडीशन. तो एडिशनल कंडीशन में पॉइंट ए है और पॉइंट बी है, और दोनों के बीच में देखो यहाँ पे मैंने आप लोगों को क्या मेंशन करके दिया है, एंड. आई मेंशन एंड. व्हाट डू यू अंडरस्टैंड बाय टर्म कॉल्ड एंड? So whenever you are checking with additional condition, your both the points should to be satisfied. Point A as well as point B, both should to be satisfied. Both A and B. A क्या बोलता है, मिनिमम टू मिनिमम कितने डेज आपको इंडिया में रहना है, 730 डेज. 730 डेज और मोर इन इंडिया in 7 immediately preceding previous year, and resident for 2 years out of 10 immediately preceding previous year. ये दो पॉइंट है आप लोगों का, सेक्शन 6 सबसेक्शन 6 फॉर द एडिशनल कंडीशन. ओके. सो उसमें एक पार्ट है, मिनिमम 730 डेज आपको इंडिया में रहना है 7 immediately preceding previous year, एंड मिनिमम आप लोगों को 2 years resident होना out of 10 immediately preceding previous year. Okay. Now what do you mean by 7 immediately preceding previous year? What do you mean by 10 immediately preceding previous year? Just a minute students, I will open one more my file and I will share with all of you. So this is there your additional condition part. Okay. So this is your 7 immediately preceding previous year, as you all can see. 7 immediately preceding previous year will be your previous year is 1920. उसको लिख के हम लोगों ने cancel किया. Then we are going on 18 19, 17 18, 16 17, 15 16, 14 15, 13 14, 12 13. So previous year लिख के 7 years पीछे हम लोग गए. That is your 7 immediately preceding previous year. तो ये 7 immediately preceding previous year में minimum to minimum कितने days उसको इंडिया में रहना है, 730 days. And about resident for 2 years out of 10 immediately preceding previous year. See, you can see I have written 10 immediately preceding previous year also. 1920 लिख के cancel करके 10 years back. 18 19, 17 18, 16 17, 15 16, 14 15, 13 14, 12 13, 11 12, 10 11, 9 10. So this was your 10 immediately preceding previous year. Now out of this 10 immediately preceding previous year, minimum 2 years you have to be a resident of India. Out of this 10 immediately preceding previous year, minimum 2 years you have to be a resident of India. Now for example, how to calculate whether you are a resident or non-resident? All of us we know whether you are a resident or non-resident will be computed with the help of basic condition. So what we are going to do, if you are satisfied with basic condition, you are a resident. If you are not satisfied with basic condition, you are a non-resident. So what we are going to do, हम लोग 18 19 17 18 16 17 15 16 in each year we are going to check previous year, we are going to check resident basic conditions separately. For each year we are going to check with basic conditions separately. So we will be checking for 18 19, we will be checking for 17 18, we will be checking for 16 17, we will be checking for 15 16, we will be checking for 14 15. Same way we are going to checking till 9 10. That is your 10 immediately preceding previous year. So we are going to check with basic condition for all this year 18 19 17 18 individually separately, and out of this 10 years minimum 2 years he should to be satisfied with the resident part, should to be satisfied with your basic condition part. Okay, minimum 2 years. How is going to satisfied with basic condition part? Minimum for 2 years you should satisfied with either 182 days point or 60 plus 365 point, either 182 point or 60 plus 365 point. Okay, out of this 10 years minimum for 2 years. So then he is satisfied with point B. And whenever we are checking with additional condition, both points should to be satisfied, A and B. This is there as your additional condition. Okay. Now there is some exclusion point. Exclusion point related to point B. Point B. So whatever the following cases is given, in that cases point B is not applicable. In the following cases, point B is not applicable. Sir, what do you mean by point B? Point B of what? Point B of basic condition is not applicable. Point B of basic condition. Point B of basic condition is not applicable. Okay. अब क्या था आप लोगों का पॉइंट बी 60 + 3 65 days. ओके, सो ऑल दिस थ्री केसेस पॉइंट बी इज नॉट अप्लीकेबल. मतलब in all these three cases only point A is applicable, point A of basic condition, that is only and only 182 days. So all on all these 3 points you have to satisfied with 182 days only. If you are satisfied with 182 days, then we will call as resident of India. If you are not satisfied with 182 days, then we will call non-resident of India. Now, what is given in these 3 points? First point is Indian citizen leaves India for employment purpose outside India. Right? What is happening here? Some Indian citizen left India for employment outside India. So in this case, only point A is applicable, that is 182. Point B is not applicable. Only 182 criteria is applicable. Okay. Now in second case, Indian citizen Indian citizen leaves India as a crew member of Indian ship, right? So यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है? Indian citizen left India as a crew member of Indian ship. Students, this word is very important. Indian ship. If you are in a foreign ship, then this point is not applicable. Then this point is not applicable. Then A and B both applicable. Only if it is Indian ship, then point A is applicable. B is not applicable. Okay. So Indian citizen leaves India as a crew member of Indian ship. And third point, person of Indian origin comes to India for a visit purpose. So what is happening here? Some Indian origin person coming to India for a visit purpose. Sir, what do you mean by person of Indian origin? I have seen once in an exam they had asked, explain in one line what do you understand by term called person of Indian origin. So person of Indian origin means person of Indian origin. I will mention here. Person of Indian origin means whose parents, grandparents, great grandparents, and or anyone is taken birth in undivided India. Undivided India. Students, what do you mean by undivided India? Undivided India means before 1947, Pakistan was a part of India. Bangladesh, some part was Bangladesh part was in India. So all this structure will be of undivided India. Okay. So for example, Mr. A is there, he is staying in Karachi and Karachi, Pakistan, and his grandfather has taken birth in the year 1940 in Karachi, Pakistan. So he is the person of Indian origin. Reason, his grandparents is taken birth on undivided India. So he's a person of Indian origin. Now he's coming to India. He's coming to India for a visit purpose. For example, he comes to India to visit the Gateway of India, Agra Taj Mahal, Mumbai, Delhi Qutub Minar and everything. He stayed for 1 or 2 weeks. Then he left back. He left to the Pakistan again. So this is called person of Indian origin comes to India for a visit purpose. He's not coming and settling here. He's just coming here for a visit purpose. So person of Indian origin comes to India for a visit purpose. So all these 3 points will not be applicable. If all these 3 points come, then point B is not applicable. Only and only point A is applicable. Only and only point A is applicable. That is 182 days. Okay. That is 182 days. It chal jayega. And only 182 days. Okay. Take it. So यहाँ पे whether you are a resident or non-resident will be computed with the help of 182 days criteria only. 63, 65 will be ignored. So this was your basic additional exclusion point. Okay. So before I'm going to start with any sum or anything related to additional and your basic or related to exclusion, I want to ask all of you students. I'm looking at your YouTube comments and everything. YouTube comments, live comments. Anyone any doubt in basic, additional, basic concept, introduction of tax system in India or anything? Anyone wants to ask anything related to this? Anyone? If no doubt, please let me know in chat section, sir, no doubt. So I can continue. There is some 10 seconds delay. So I'm waiting for all of your replies. Very good, very good. So all of you are enjoying the session? Perfect, perfect. That's very nice. That's very nice to all of you. Certain. But a turnover of citizen, uh, turnover word is not applicable in income tax. That is applicable in the GST part. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Chalo. We'll go to the next point now. We will look at the one sum if we can solve or not. Okay. So just give me a 1 second, students. Let me find out one good sums to all of you. I have so many PDFs, so many files with me. Please explore. Very good, students. Very good. Okay. So for example, we are going to start with this sum, illustration number at 100. This is their illustration number 8. So let me clear it out, this sum part I have written in the sum of lectures maybe. Okay. So this is your example. Yeah, I will be sending notes. Don't worry, students. I will be sending again. Don't worry. India means 28 states, 8 union territories, and territorial water extend up to 12 nautical miles. Seabed area beyond 12 and up to 24. Then continental shelf beyond 24 up to 200. तो ये आपका इंडिया का definition है. So who asked me India definition? Someone. I will be sharing notes. Don't worry, student. Notes again, updated notes again I will share with all of you. Don't worry at all. Okay. So this is your sum, illustration number 8. Okay. So Mr. Yen, citizen of USA. First of all, whether he is a citizen of India, USA, or any country, we have nothing to do with it. Okay. So Mr. Yen is a citizen of USA, provides you the details of his visit during the last 7 years. So last 7 years का details आप लोगों को दिया. 13-14 he was there for 130 days. 14-15 he was there for 95 days. 15-16 he was there for 198 days. 16-17 he was there for 122 days. 17-18 he was there for 25 days. 18-19 he was there for 185 days. 19-20 was there for 180 days. Okay. And prior to 1st April 2013, he did not visit India. Matlab before 1st April 2013, he has never visited to India, right? So 1st April 2013 means 13-14. This is your year 13-14. Okay. Now what they are saying find out his residential status for the assessment year 20 and 21. So now we have to calculate with his residential status. Okay. So we started with first basic condition. We will always start with your basic condition part. Okay. Now name of SSC Mr. Yen, previous year 1920, computation of residential status, assessment year 2021. Always we will be doing, and always we will be writing name of SSC, then computation of residential status. Okay. Previous year 1920, assessment year 2021. Then we will make 3 columns, one for particulars, one for number of days in India, one for satisfied or not satisfied. So now section 6 subsection 1 is related to your basic condition part. In basic condition, A point. A point is related to stay for minimum 182 days or not, 182 days or more in India in previous year 1920. Or if you are not satisfied with A, we will go to the B point. B has a 2.1 and 2, and in B you have to satisfy with both the points, 1 and 2 both. One says minimum 60 days in India, previous year 1920, and second says minimum 365 days in India for 4 immediately preceding previous year. So we started with the sum. So we started with your 1920. You can see in the question, they have given detail about 1920 that you was in India for 1920 180 days. You was in India for 1920 180 days. Okay. So 180 days हम लोगों ने यहाँ पे लिखा. First we have written 180 days. Okay, you wanted minimum 182 days and you have got only 180 days. So it has been not satisfied with point A. Your point A is not satisfied. Okay, so we will go to the point B now. So B, first point says minimum you have to be in India for a 60 days in previous year 1920. As we have already seen, in previous year 1920 we was for 180 days. Okay, So in 60, instead of 60, B was there for 180 days. So first point related to B, related to subsection C is satisfied. Subsection C first point has been satisfied. That is 60 days. So instead of 60, I was for 180 days. So yes, I have satisfied with first point. Now I will check with the second point. Second point says minimum 365 days to be in India. So now 365 days in India in 4 immediately preceding previous year. So what I have did, I have written my previous year 1920. I have cancelled and 1920 cancel करके I have gone to the 4 previous year back. That is 18, 19, 17, 18, 16, 17, 15, 16. So in 1819 they have given, see you can check 185 days I've written 185. 17, 18, 25 days I've written 25 days. 16, 17, where is the 16, 17 students? 122 days, so 122 days. 15, 16, you can see here 15, 16, 198 days. So I've written here 198 days. Okay. So 190. So total किया हम लोगों ने of this 4 years. So it is 530 days. Okay. So 530 days here. Minimum you wanted 365. Minimum you wanted 365. So it was 530. So you are satisfied with point subsection C point 2 also. Okay. So it means you are satisfied with overall point C and you are a resident of India students. You are a resident of India. Now someone had asked me, I will be giving reply about that also. Just wait a minute. Who asked me? Tanmay Das. Just a minute, Tanmay Das. So when you are satisfied with point C, then you are a resident of India. Then we will check with the additional condition. You are satisfied with point C, you are a resident of India, we will check with the additional condition. Now Tanmay is trying to ask me, sir, what if the additional B is not applicable, so that only we call resident or non-resident? Okay. So if it is a non-resident, for example, it is a non-resident, so we are not going to check with the additional condition point. We are done with the basic only. Whenever if you will get with a satisfied point condition, basic condition, satisfied point, resident point, then your additional condition will be applicable. So in this case, basic is satisfied, then additional will be applicable. So we are going to check with additional. Tanmay Das, just wait for a minute. I will be giving you answer also. Just wait. Let me finish this up. Now additional condition. So in additional condition, section 6, subsection 6, point A, B both are applicable and I have written and. Means you have to satisfy with both the points. So first 7 immediately preceding previous year में आप लोगों का क्या क्या आएगा 1920 लिख के कैंसिल किया 18 19 17 18 16 17 15 16 14 15 13 14 ओके ये सब लिखा आप लोगों ने so they have given details about it so you can check in the question clearly check in the question 18 19 185 17 18 25 16 17 122 15 16 198 14 15 95 13 14 130 so all these days I have written here have total. So total was 755. Okay. So minimum you wanted 730, but you got 755. So yes, you are satisfied with point A. You are satisfied with point A. But in additional condition point, you have to satisfied with both the points A as well as B. Both the points should to be satisfied. Okay. Now B point says resident for 2 years minimum. Minimum resident for 2 years after 10 immediately preceding previous year. So now we are going to check with 10 immediately preceding previous year. So I have written 10 immediately preceding previous year. 18, 19, 17, 18, 16, 17, 15, 16, 14, 15, 13, 14, 12, 13, 11, 12, 10, 11, everything I have written. Okay. Now I have also written number of days. 185 for 18, 19, 17, 18, 25, 16, 17, 122, 15, 16, 198, 14, 15, 90. ऐसा हम लोगों ने लिख लिया. Now I will check with whether is a resident or non-resident. To check this point, I will be checking whether is satisfied with basic condition or not. So first we will check with basic condition point A, that is 182 days. So you can clearly see in 1819 he was in India for 185 days. So yes, he is a resident. 1718 he was for 25 days. He is a non-resident. 1617 he was of 122 days non-resident. 1516 he was for 198 days resident. 1415 he was for 95 days non-resident. 1314 he was for 130 days non-resident. And before 1314 he never visited to India. So 0000. Minimum you wanted resident for 2 years and you can clearly see 18, 19 and 15, 16 was the resident year. So it means you are a resident for 2 years out of 10 immediately preceding previous year. So you are also satisfied with point B. So I can and you all can say we are also satisfied with additional point, students. So if you are satisfied with additional point, so yes, you are a resident and ordinary resident of India. So you will be giving in the conclusion, you are a resident and ordinary resident of India. You have to write in detail that a satisfied basic, additional applicable, additional also satisfied, both the points of additional is satisfied. So Mr. Yen will be called as resident and ordinary resident of India. So this was your residential status which we have completed. Now I will be going to the your part scope of total income. First I will clear it out one doubt. Anyone condition of visibility? Tanmay was asking, Tanmay, whether is an exclusion point or non-exclusion point, once you're satisfied with your basic condition, you always have to check with additional condition. It doesn't matter if you are come under the exclusion, you doesn't come under the exclusion. Important matters is whether you are satisfying with basic or not. You're satisfied with basic, yes, additional is applicable. Okay. Tanmay, if you are clear with your doubt, please please reply in the chat section, sir, I am clear. Okay, chalo. So now we can continue with the scope of total income part. Now students, we will starting with the scope of total income. What do you understand by scope of total income? And most importantly, why we calculate the scope of total income? So we calculate scope of total income, reason behind that is, we have to compute roughly thoroughly income of the SSC. We want roughly income of the SSC. What is the income of the SSC? Roughly. So with the help of scope of total income, we will calculate his rough income. Okay. So for calculation of scope of total income, we have to also check with is a resident, non-resident, or ordinary or not ordinary, whatever. So always we will keep a habit of making a 3 columns. In question only, most of the question they ask for all 3: ordinary, resident, not ordinary, non-resident. Okay. So first column particular, second ROR, that is resident or ordinary, second is RNOR, resident and not ordinary, third non-resident. Okay. Now you have to check your type of income, which type of income it is, whether it is the Indian income or it is a foreign income. Sir, how to calculate it is an Indian income or foreign income? Very simple, students, don't worry at all. So given here, Indian income means income which is accrued, arise, generated or received in India. Any of them. It's not always that all 4 to be together there. Any of them, either accrued, arise, generated or received. Sir, what do you mean by accrue? What do you mean by arise? What do you mean by generated? Receive, we can understand, sir. Accrued, arise, generated as a one term called earn. EARN, earn. So in short, I would like to say, either you have to earn in India or received in India. Either you have to earn in India or received in India. Okay. Either you have to earn in India or received in India. Okay. दोनों में से कोई एक होना चाहिए आप लोगों का. Okay. If I have earned in India, then this is your Indian income. If I have earned outside India but received in India, yes, this is your Indian income. For example, I'm working in Mumbai, in a Indian city, Mumbai. For that amount, I have received the salary in USA. I have received some amount of salary in USA. So where I have earned this income, I have earned this income in India. I have earned this income in India. Okay. So it will be my Indian income. So that will be my Indian income. For example, I'm working in some UK based company and for that I'm receiving salary in India. I'm working in UK based company and I'm receiving salary in India. Okay. So I have earned this salary, this work in UK, but that amount I'm receiving in India. That amount I'm receiving in India. Okay. So that is your Indian income. Either you have to earn in India or you have to receive in India. Students, just wait. I will be giving opportunity to ask doubt also. Just wait. Let me explain also. With the explanation, I will take a break and I will ask. Sub mix karoge, it will be problem to all of you as well as for me also. Okay, just wait. I will be giving time. Just wait for 10 minutes. Okay. Okay. Either you have earned in India or received in India. दोनों में से कोई एक होना चाहिए. For example, I have earned in Nepal. I have worked in Nepal. I have received that salary in China. There is no connection with India. You are earning in Nepal, you are receiving in China, no connection with India. So that is your foreign income. That is your foreign income. So foreign income meaning means income other than Indian income will be called as foreign income. So income which is not your Indian income will be called as foreign income. Okay. Now, either you have to earn in India or receive in India. Both are either of them. दोनों में से कोई एक. Second, दोनों भी आप लोगों का आउटसाइड इंडिया है. अर्न ऑल्सो आउटसाइड इंडिया, रिसीव ऑल्सो आउटसाइड इंडिया. सो दैट इज योर फॉरेन इनकम. ओके. Now there is one more provision in Indian income is called deemed to be accrued arise generated received in India. What do you mean by deemed to be accrued arise generated? Deemed word means assumption. You will assume that you have received or earned or generated in India. Question में दिया होगा deemed to be accrued in India. You have to write Indian income. Deemed to be received. You have to write Indian income. So don't worry about deemed provision. That is mentioned in the question. Worry about part of earn, part of receive. Either of should to be in India. Either earn or received in India. Okay, that is there. If it is Indian income, matlab either earn or received in India, then it is your Indian income and it will be taxable in all three columns: ROR, RNOR, NR. If it is not earned as well as not received in India, so that is not your Indian income. If it is not your Indian income, then it is your foreign income. Okay, students, foreign income means income which is not your Indian income. Foreign income has two categories. Two categories. First category, business or profession control from India. Second category, other foreign income. So how to categorize them both of them? See, for example, you ABC Limited, some company is there whose head office is in India. ABC Limited, which company's head office is in India. Okay. Now they have branch in USA also, UK, USA also. Okay. Now in USA branch, they are receiving some amount of income. They have worked there. They have received that income there only. So USA, they are earning the income. Yes, sir. They are receiving in USA. Yes, sir. Both they are receiving. Okay, in USA only. So that is your foreign income. But this business has head office in India. So this business is controlled by completely from India. So that will come under this point. That is taxable in ROR and RNOR. Okay. So now again I am repeating. Having head office in India, set up in India, holding company in India, or in short, control from India. Whenever you are earning and receiving in outside India only, that is your foreign income only. But that company has been controlled from India. So that is will be covered under this point and will be taxable for ROR and RNO, both the points. Okay. Then other than this, all types of foreign income will be called as other foreign income, which will be taxable only and only for ROR. For example, I am working in Nepal and receiving salary in China. No connection with India, foreign income. Anything mention about controlling from India? Not mentioned. So that is your other foreign income. So recorded only and only ROR. Again, I am repeating to all of you students. Indian income, ROR, RNOR, NR. Foreign income category 1, business or profession control from India, ROR, RNOR. Other foreign income, only and only ROR. Okay. So we'll do one thing. We'll just look at the one sum. Okay. Just we will go through with one sum. Then let's see what to do. Okay. Now this sum is there. There is only a slightly change in the year. I will be saying about it. Don't worry at all. So I'm just reading with all of you. Just 1 minute. I will also arrange the solution here only. What was the illustration number? 30. SSC name was Anil. Anil. I hope I have solved about it. Just a minute. Students. Oh, I have not. Okay, I have missed the part notes. I have to explain notes also to all of you. Just 1 minute. Huh? Let me finalize one good sum to all of you. We'll finalize this sum only. It has I have to cover, I have to teach all of you the notes part also. Notes. Notes in your scope of total income. Four notes has been mentioned. First notes, past untaxed profit need to be ignored. Like we are calculating income for the previous year 1920. So we have to calculate, we have to include income only related to 1920. Any income related to 18, 19, 17, 18, 16, 17 to be ignored. That part to be ignored. We have to only calculate for the related to your 1920 part. Okay. So even if question, if they have mentioned anything related to past profit, past income, you have to be ignored. Second, amount remittance to India need to be ignored. Now, what do you mean by remittance? Remittance means merely transfer of the income, merely transfer of the income. Sir, what do you mean by transfer of income? For example, your dad works in USA, he earn income in USA, he receive income in USA, okay? Now he just sending sum of rupees 20,000 every monthly basics to you, to all your daily expenses like your studies, your books, your food, your hostel, everything. So you are just mainly receiving the amount. You are just receiving. You are not earning that amount. Getting my point? There is a difference between receiving and earning. So you have not earned. You have just received. So that is called as remittance. So that part will be ignored. So every time you have to concentrate on first place of earn, first place of receive. So what example I have shared with all of you, in that case, first income has been earned in USA with your dad, received with your dad in USA only. So we will consider it foreign income. After that, what you are receiving, that is a part of remittance and to be ignored. Okay. Then third point, only gross amount to be recorded. If it is net amount, then TDS will be added and gross will be recorded. So keep in your mind, every time we have to record with gross amount. For example, I'm earning sum of rupees 1 lakh in lottery. So on that 1 lakh, I have to pay 30%, that is 30,000 amount for TDS. So net I'm receiving 70,000. So in outer column, you will not write 70,000. You have to write with 1 lakh only. That is your gross amount. So in question, every time they will try to confuse all of you by giving a net amount. And they will also give information related to TDS. So every time if they have given net amount, add with TDS, add TDS in your net amount, then record the gross amount. Okay. So only gross amount you have to record it in the outer column. Now with fourth point, exempt income need to be ignored. Fourth and very important point for the scope of total income, all types of exempt income to be ignored. Okay. Now there are so many types of exempt incomes are there, which we will either cover in today's or next session in income from other sources majorly. Okay. So just a minute. Now, first point is dividend from Indian company or nationalized bank. Okay. So if you are receiving any kinds of dividend from Indian company, you are receiving any kinds of dividend from Indian company or nationalized bank, that is fully exempted. Now, what do you mean by Indian company? For example, Reliance is there. Okay. Then Tata is there. All this kind of company is your Indian company. Okay. So this will be you're receiving any kinds of dividend from these companies, that will be fully exempted and you have to ignore. Now, what do you mean by nationalized bank? Nationalized bank such as SBI is there, Andhra Bank is there. All these are the nationalized bank. So whatever dividend you are receiving from your this point called SBI or your Andhra Bank and etc. So that will be again exempted and you have to ignore it. That will be again exempted and you have to ignore it. Okay. So dividend from Indian company, dividend from nationalized bank is exempted and ignored. Now, sir, what do you mean? What if there is a foreign company? So every time keep differential also in your mind. They have clearly said Indian company is nationalized bank is exempted. And if in question, if they will give you a foreign company dividend or some cooperative bank dividend, so keep in your mind that is your fully taxable. And if it is fully taxable, then you have to record also. Then you have to check whether it is an Indian income or foreign income. If it is Indian income, then you have to record as per the Indian income. If it is your foreign income, you have to record as per the foreign income part. Okay. So every time dividend from Indian company, nationalized bank, fully exempted. Ignore it. Then dividend from foreign company or dividend from a cooperative bank, fully taxable, you have to record it. Okay. Now next point, income from agriculture land in India. Agriculture land in India is the most important word, I can say, most important word. If your agriculture land is in India, okay, then it is fully exempted. For example, I'm receiving some agriculture income from Chennai, from Lucknow, from Bangalore, from Hyderabad, from Himachal, XYZ cities or state in India. Okay, so that is fully exempted. If I'm receiving some agriculture income from Nepal, students fully taxable. China, fully taxable. Pakistan, fully taxable. Bangladesh, fully taxable. Sri Lanka, fully taxable. Bhutan, fully taxable. So any types of agriculture income received from outside India is taxable. You have to record it. Or any types of agriculture income from Indian land, from India, fully exempted, ignore. Third point, gift from relatives. Any types of gift you are receiving from your relatives are fully exempted. Fully exempted, ignore it. Any types of awards you are receiving from government, okay, awards from government, like you are receiving Bharat Ratna, you are receiving Padma Shri, you are receiving Arjun Puraskar, fully exempted, ignore it. Okay, so these 4 points are exempted, you have to ignore it. Okay, now we will start with the sum. We will start with Mr. David sum. I've given this one. The only thing I have to say to all of you, Mr. David is a citizen of USA, uh, and non-resident in the India during the previous year 1920. It is given 1819 actually, but it is 1920. We have to take care. Previous year 1920, assessment year 2021. So previous year 1920, he gives you the following information relating to the income for the previous year 1920. Now in the last line, find out the total income taxable in India for the assessment year 2021 according to the provision of section 5. Now what we will do, even if there is a non-resident, for our example purpose, we will calculate for all three ROR, RNOR, NR. So we will assume resident and ordinary, resident not ordinary, non-resident. Okay, let's begin. First, they said salary earned and received in USA. Salary earned and received in USA. Okay, so now you have earned and as well as received outside India. Okay, so this is your foreign income. So this is your foreign income, students. So foreign income, which type it is? Other foreign income. No control from India. So this will be recorded only and only in ROR. So 75,000 will be recorded only and only in ROR. Then second point, interest. Second point, I will go to the question. Interest on debentures from Indian company received in India. So most important word is received in India. So if you are receiving in India, then it is your Indian income, students. Indian income, all three columns. So 25,000 will be recorded in ROR, RNOR, NR. Okay. Now third point, interest on bonds of company in Germany received in Germany. Again, you're receiving and earning outside India. So that is your foreign income. Now, any control from India they have given? No, students, they have not given. So this is your other foreign income. So if it is other foreign income, only and only ROR. So now we will go and check. Yes. So interest on bonds from German company, other foreign income, only and only 30,000 recorded in ROR. The next point is fourth point, profession fees received in India. Professional fees received in India. So this fees has been received in India. So this is your Indian income. So if it is Indian income, recorded in all three columns. So all three column where it is, yes, professional fees received in India, 50,000, 50,000, 50,000. Okay. Now your fifth point, income from business in London, control from Mumbai. Now business in London is the most important point. You have worked, you have did your business in, you have done your business in London. So you are earned in London as well as received in London because you are doing business there. But that company has been controlled from Mumbai. Mumbai means India. So this is the income which is foreign income because business is in London. So it means earned in London, received in London. So this is your foreign income. But this income, this company has been controlled, this business has been controlled from India. So it is your foreign income, no doubt. Okay, this is your foreign income, no doubt. But business is controlled from India. Business is controlled from India. Okay. So we will record only in two columns, 70,000 in ROR, 70,000 in RNR. This is there. Okay. Now 6 point. Interest on bank account in USA. Underline the word USA. Okay, USA. Now again, USA is the where you are the earning the income, you are receiving the income. So this is your foreign income. So foreign income, which part? Anything mention about control part? Sir, no mention about control part. So this is your other foreign income. Okay. So other foreign income, so recorded only and only in ROR. So 15,000 will be recorded in ROR only. Okay. So now what we will do, we will total the ROR part. So total was 2,65,000. RNOR part was 1,45,000. NR part was 75,000. Students, don't worry about this solution part. I will be sharing PDF with all of you. Even if you're not writing, don't write also. Don't worry. I will manage some, give me some days once I'm done with the session, either today or till the Sunday. I will convert it or making all the separate pages into the PDF. Then I will send it to all. Okay. Chalo. Now we are done with the scope of total income. So I am looking in your YouTube page. If anyone has any doubt, just mention in your YouTube chat. Please ignore trying to chat and all. Only discuss related to academic, related to your doubts. All sir who are taking all lectures. Yes, Vasantra Lakshmi. That gift part exceeding 50,000 is taxable, but that is given in salary and other sources. I will cover it. That 4 exempt income, what I have discussed here, that is only important for scope of total income. So that is the reason I have discussed only 4. Indian income, you want me to explain it again. Indian income means income which is either earned in India or received in India. Either you are earning in India or you are receiving in India. Okay. For example, I had work in Mumbai. So this is earned in India, that is your Indian income. For example, I am working in USA, earn in USA, received in Mumbai. So again, even if you have earned outside India, but you have received in India, so that is your Indian income. Okay, fifth point you want me to explain? Don't worry. See, about fifth point, what they have given. Income from business in London, control from Mumbai. So business is in London. So you are earned in London, you received in London, right? See, so this is your foreign income. Now foreign income it is. Then in next line, next word they have given control from Mumbai. So even if it is foreign income, but this income, this company has been controlled from Mumbai, that is controlled from India. So this is an example of foreign income which has a business and profession control from India. So whenever your foreign income which has a business and profession control from India, then it will be recorded in 2 columns, that is ROR, RNOR. So you can see I have recorded in ROR, RNOR. Okay, 70,000, 70,000. And students, once you are clear it with your doubt, please mention in the chat section, sir, I'm clear, thank you, or whatever. Even if you're not saying thank you, at least say, sir, I'm clear. Vashanta Lakshmi, I clear your doubt. Then Chandran, I have cleared your doubt. Then Vandra, Hirar Vandra, I have cleared your doubt also. No. Anjali, I have cleared your doubt. Hirar is asking, so you're telling about the making columns. We are not supposed to do that. Just for rough person and all. Normally how we do that way, I'm saying the column part. Yes, Anjali, you are absolutely right. If it is controlled from London, then it is a completely foreign income, other foreign income. Indian Dhananjay, Indian income will be recorded in all 3 columns. And don't worry, students, about the notes. Sudhir is saying, please do that. Don't forget it because we did not get it. Okay. Don't worry, dear. Don't worry at all. I will be sending notes. This is my guarantee. But just give me some days. Once today's session ended, I will try to make it today, or till Sunday I will make and send it to all. Chalo. Let's go to the house property, students. Let's start with the income from house property. So now we are starting with income from house property. So that is your income from house property. Yes, I have tried to cover everything here also. So we are done with this file. So chalo, now concentrate on lecture instead of typing on chat section. I will be giving time. That time you guys will ask doubt. Okay. Chalo. Now we will start with heads of income, or it will be going to take 15 minutes a student for your house property part. So give you 100% here. Okay. Now house property. Before starting to house property, how many before starting to house property, how many heads of income are there? How many heads of income are there? Okay, total 5 heads of income are there. First is your income from salary, second is your from income from house property, third is your profit and gain from business and profession, fourth is your income from capital gain, fifth is your from income from other sources. For example, I am the employee of certain ABC limited company. So from that company I will be receiving salary. So that salary part will be taxable under that income from salary. I have the house property. I have rented that house property to some XYZ person. So that rent what I am receiving, that will be taxable under that income from house property. I'm doing some business. I'm receiving some profit from my business, or I'm just practicing some profession. I'm receiving fees from that profession. So that will be taxable under that profit and gain from business and profession. Now I have some capital assets like investment in shares, securities, debentures, house property, etc. That capital assets I'm selling and I'm receiving some gain on that capital assets. Why we mentioned gain, I have explained in earlier today's session only. So gain on capital asset. So that will be taxable under that income from capital gain. And now anything remain after these 4 heads of income, that will be taxable under that income from other sources. Students, working some company salary, income from salary. Renting house property, rent, income from house property. Business profit or fees from profession, profit and gain from business and profession. Any types of gain on sale of capital assets, income from capital gain. And all the remaining part will become, now all the remaining part will become under the income from other sources. For example, dividend, interest, royalty, all this part will be taxable under that income from other sources. So all the remaining other income will be covered under the income from other sources. Okay. Now you guys are giving the professional exam. So try to remember sections also. And this is my personal suggestion and advice to all of you. Whenever you are the 200% confident about section, not even 200% confident about the section, then only mention the section. If you are not a confident, you are a contingent, whether 15 16 or either maybe 16, no, don't write it. If you are a 200% confident, then write the section, because writing a wrong section can lead to the wrong answer. Chalo. Now salary has from section 15 to 17, then house property has 22 to 27, profit and gain from business and profession has 28 to 44. Capital gain has 45 to 55. Other sources has from 56 to 59. This is all the sections between that your heads of income is given. So today and now, right now, we are starting with house property. So it will be around 15 to 20 minutes. I will be explaining all the notes. Then we will try to see at least 1 or 2 sums. Okay, students, let's begin. Now, when your income will be taxable under that income from house property. Okay. Okay, please ignore chat section, please concentrate on the lecture. I will be giving time to doubt and all. Please students, concentrate on lecture. Now income and rent received from house property will be taxable under that income from house property as per section 2 subsection 22. It is actually 22 subsection 1. 22 subsection 1, if following 3 conditions are satisfied. Okay, so it is given, whenever you are receiving any kinds of rent or any kinds of income from house property, so that rent or that income will be taxable under that income from house property if following 3 conditions are satisfied. Following 3 conditions are satisfied. Okay, so let's have a doubt session, let's have a question answer session also. Once I'm asking one question, you have to reply as soon as possible. Okay, not a doubt session. This is now first point. There should to be house property. Now, what do you mean by house property? House property means having the four walls. Having the four walls. For example, you have an open plot of land. खाली जमीन है आप लोगों का, खाली जमीन, open plot of land, whether used for agriculture purpose or normal purpose, etc. So what I have did, open plot of land, I have given on rent to the some XYZ, Mr. XYZ. So that rent will be taxable under that income from house property or income from other sources. Waiting for reply to all of you. Income from rent from open plot of land, taxable under the head income from house property or income from other sources or business, capital gain, where? Waiting for your reply, students. Very wrong answer. Other sources is the right answer. Other sources is the right answer. See, every time there should to be a house property. There should to be house property. There should to be house property means having the four walls, minimum four walls. For example, I have given on rent open plot of land. Four walls है क्या? नहीं है. So that is other sources. I have given on rent agriculture land. Four walls है क्या? नहीं है. Other sources. I have given on rent one bedroom all kitchen. Four walls है? Yes. That is income from house property. Okay. Then टू बेडरूम मॉल किचन किसी को रेंट पे दिया और शॉपिंग मॉल में आप लोगों के पास यू आर हैविंग सम गाला और सम premises in your shopping mall, you have rented that, so that is also income from house property. Okay, reason having a four walls is a house property. So first condition, there should be house property. Second condition is SSC should to be the owner of that house property. Now all are you clear, right? Open plot of land or agriculture land is taxable under that income from other sources, or one bedroom all kitchen and all having the four walls, चार दीवार जिसका है, that will be taxable other sources, that will be taxable house property. Okay, open plot of land, other sources, house property having four walls, house income from house property. Okay, chalo. Students was having doubt like Sudhir and everyone, you guys are clear? Sudhir had given right answer. Safia Sheikh and Neha, you guys are clear, right? Chalo, let's go to the second point. SSC should to be the owner of house property. SSC should to be the owner of house property. Owner of house property means, okay? Owner of house property means, for example, I will be sharing one good example with all of you. Just a minute. You guys heard about the paying guest PG system? PG system, okay? Safia Sheikh and Neha, you guys have to reply. Whoever I have clear with doubt, every time you keep updating me also, please. Okay. Now, I have given one example. Income from house property. Yeah, से आप लोगों का start हो रहा है. So there is a Mr. A, there is a Mr. A, and there is a Mr. B, and there is a Mr. C. Mr. A is the owner of house property. Mr. B is the tenant number one. Now Mr. A is the owner of house property. So he is rented that house property to Mr. B. He is rented that house property to Mr. B for rupees 15,000. So now Mr. B is paying sum of rupees 15,000 to Mr. A. Mr. B is paying sum of rupees 15,000 to Mr. A. So now Mr. A is earning 15,000, 15,000 from house property, from the renting of house property, and is the owner of house property. So whatever income he is receiving, that will be taxable under that income from house property. Now what is happening? Mr. B has just decorated that house property now very well, like interior painting and all. Some extra bed he added. He had added one cupboard. He cleaned the house property. He cleaned the toilets and everything. He did very well to the house property. Designed very well. Now what he is doing? That house property again he is giving on rent to Mr. C. So now Mr. B, what he is doing? Same house property, after all modification and designing and all, he is giving on rent to Mr. C, some kind of PG, if you have heard, paying guest. Now, in return, Mr. C is paying 25,000 rupees rent to Mr. B. In return, Mr. C is paying 25,000 rupees rent to Mr. B. Okay. Now, students, you have to check. Mr. B has an income of rupees 10,000. How 10,000 students is receiving 25,000 rupees from Mr. C. Out of 25,000, he is paying 15,000 to Mr. A. So now remaining part is 10,000 for rent. So 10,000 is his income. But whether Mr. B is the owner of house property, no sir, he is the tenant of house property. Tenant number one. So whether he will be chargeable for income from house property? No. Income from house property will be chargeable only if the SSC is the owner of house property. But here in this example, SSC is not the owner of house property. SSC is the tenant of house property. So what we are going to do, that 10,000 amount will be taxable under that income from other sources. So your second point clearly says that SSC should to be the owner of house property. If he is the owner of house property, then only it will be taxable under that income from house property. If it is not the owner of house property, even if he is the receiving the income from that house property, then it will be taxable under that income from other sources. Okay. Okay. I will keep in mind that every time I'm sharing any file, I have to zoom it. Okay. Just don't worry. So sorry. Don't worry now. Now, types of house property. Types of house property. Okay. Types of house property. So basically there are three, no, sorry. Third condition is remaining. So the third condition, that house property should not be used for own business and profession. Own business and profession. So you can see I have marked word own. For example, I have some house property and I'm doing my practicing there, only sitting in my house property. I'm doing practice as a cost accountant. So that will be taxable under the head income from profit and gain from business and profession, not income from house property. Reason, that particular house property has been used in your business and profession. If you are using for your own business and profession, so that will be taxable under the head profit and gain from business and profession. If you are using for your own business and profession, so that will be taxable under the head profit and gain from business and profession. Okay. So clearly I have mentioned, if you are using for your own business and profession, profit and gain from business and profession. I will be giving example. For example, I am using that house property and running some recharge shop business there. Recharge shop coupon I'm selling there. So that is profit and gain from business and profession. I'm having a house property there. I started with some general store. That is again income from again from profit and gain from business and profession. Now what I did, I have rented that house property to ABC Limited, ABC Limited company, right? So now here what is happening? ABC, I have rented a house property to ABC Limited, and that ABC Limited is using for their business and purpose. So that doesn't matter. Am I using for my own business and profession? No. I'm not using for my own business and profession. If I'm using for my own business and profession, then profit and gain from business and profession. If I'm giving to someone and they are using for their own business and profession, their business and profession, then it doesn't matters at all. What matters? Whether I'm using my business? No. Then directly income from house property. If I'm using for my business and profession, then profit and gain from business and profession. And I'm giving on rent to some other person and he's using for any purpose, for his residential purpose, for his business purpose, or any other purpose. So that will be taxable for me income from house property. Reason, I'm not using for that my business purpose. I'm just giving on rent to him and finishing. So I have given on rent, I have let out that property, then income from house property. So students, all of you, clear with the three conditions? Reply yes sir, clear. Don't ask anything uh, related to notes. I will be sharing, don't worry. So all of you clear with all 3 points, right? Chalo. Now we can go to the next point. Next point is related to types of house property. Types of house property. How many types of house property is there? There are 3 types of house properties there. What are the 3 types? LOP, SOP, DLOP. LOP means let out property. SOP means self-occupied property. DLOP means deemed to be let out property. Deemed to be let out property. So what do you mean by all this word? Let out, SOP, DLOP, what do you mean by that? Let out means I have given that house property to someone on rent. I have given someone that house property on rent. Now, SOP means I'm using that house property for my self purpose, self-occupied purpose. That is your SOP. Now, sir, what do you mean by DLOP now? You said LOP means I'm giving on rent. SOP means I'm using that house property. DLOP means deemed to be let out. Deemed to be let out means I'm assuming that that house property has been let out to someone. I'm assuming that that house property has been let out to someone. Okay. Now, sir, how this all criteria will come? Now, see here. Let out property, LOP has no limit. Number of house property you can let out. For example, you have 100 house properties, you can let out 100. You have 10 house property, you can let out 10. You have house property 1000, let out 1000. No matter. Okay. Okay. Then, for example, you have a house property for a self-occupied purpose. Self-occupied purpose. Okay. So, what is the limit for self-occupied? So there are only maximum 2 house property can be used for self-occupied. There is a limit for self-occupied. Maximum 2 house property can be used for self-occupied purpose. For example, I have 1 house property I am using for self-occupied, no problem. I have 2 house property, both the 2 house property I am using for self-occupied, no problem at all. I have 3 house property and I am saying all 3 I am using for house property for a self-occupied, there is a problem. I have 4 house property. I'm saying all 4 house property I'm using for self-occupied. There is a problem. I have 5 house property and I'm saying all the 5 house property I'm using for self-occupied. There is a problem. So if you have up to 2 house property and you are using all that 2 house property for SOP, no problem. But you have more than 2 house property, and all the house property you are saying that you are using for self-occupied purpose, then it is not allowed. Then out of that 5 house property, any of two, now again it depends upon you, out of 5, any of two you will choose. Any of two will be treated as SOP. Out of 5, any of two will be treated as SOP, and remaining 3 will be treated as DLOP. So remaining 3 will be treated as DLOP. So what we are going to do, if in any case more than 5 house property is there and SSC is saying, sir, in all 5 house property, I stay with my family, I have self-occupied that house property. So income tax provision says, no, not allowed. Only 2 is allowed. So out of 4, only 2 you have to count as SOP, and remaining 3 you have to count as DLOP. Okay. Now, sir, why you have to separate as a DLOP and all? You can check with the statement. So there are certain criteria, certain benefit is given to SOP. The main reason SOP numbers has been limited to 2. So basically SOP has been used for the self-occupied purpose. So there is no income from that house property. So no income, no tax will also be applicable on SOP. So that is the reason there is a limitation for SOP. Only 2 house properties allowed as SOP. And students, I want to repeat to all of you, write in your notebook, amendment of maximum 2 house property as SOP. Amendment of maximum 2 house property as SOP. So this is your amendment. This is your amendment point. Okay. So there is majorly chances that exam they will ask in your exam. Okay. So maximum 2 house property can be SOP. Okay. This is your amendment. Okay. Chalo. Now you can see LOP has mentioned all the income, all the expenses. DLOP has also mentioned all the income, all the expenses. Okay. So SOP has mentioned no any income, only one expense is there. What is there? I will be explaining. Now this is very important as student. This house property I have turned into the format base. So this notes, everything you guys will get, don't worry at all. But remember the format. We have to start with municipal value. We are going to compare that municipal value with fair rent. Then we will consider whichever is higher part. So whatever the higher amount comes, that higher amount will be compared with standard rent. Then standard rent and that higher amount both will be compared and taken as lower part. ये दोनों में से lower. So that lower will be called as expected rent. That lower will be called as expected rent. Now that expected rent will be compared with your actual rent. Okay. Now expected rent or actual rent, दोनों में से you have to take whichever is higher. Whichever is higher. So that higher part will be your gross annual value. Your higher part will be gross annual value. Now from your gross annual value, you have to deduct your municipal tax. Municipal tax deducted, then you will get your net annual value. Then out of net annual value, you have to deduct your deduction under section 24. Then subsection A is your standard deduction, that is 30%, and subsection B is your interest on loan, and then you will get your taxable income. So this is your format, which is very important to all of you. Okay. Now municipal value is there. We have to compare with fair rent, whichever is higher, higher to with standard rent. दोनों में से lower, lower will be expected, expected with actual, whichever is higher, higher will be gross annual value. Again deduct municipal tax deducted, then it is net annual value. Then from net annual value, you have to deduct deduction under section 24. Subsection E is your standard deduction 30%, and subsection B is your interest on loan, and then you will be getting your taxable income. So I want to ask all of you, if you can see clearly, there is in one point where in DLOP case, income is not recorded. In which point and why? Just reply me. Sai Pooja, what doubt you ask about building floor? That will be covered in next 30 minutes. Vasanta Lakshmi, deemed to be let out means uh, uh, assuming that we have given on rent. Subletting means instant of owner, tenant has given on rent. And Raj Maurya. Okay, take it. Very good, students. DLOP in actual and there is no amount. Why there is no amount in actual rent? Perfect. Actual and correct, but why there is no amount in actual rent? And students who are clearing with your doubt, please mention in chat section. Request to all of you. We are assuming it is as a let out because DLOP we are not receiving. Very good, students, very proud of you. Because it is actually not rented out. We are assuming that it is as rented out. Very good. Chalo. Now, what do you mean by all these terms, municipal value, fair rent, and etc.? I will try to cover it in a short period of time. Municipal value means the value as per the municipal authority. Value of your house property as per your municipal authority. Fair rent means whatever the rent is chargeable in your similar location. For example, you stay in Mumbai city, so whatever the rent is charged for one bedroom all kitchen in Mumbai city, that is your fair rent. Then standard rent. Standard rent is something rent which is again depends upon your condition of house property. For example, overall in Mumbai, one bedroom all kitchen is chargeable for 35,000, but you have decorated house property very well. Okay, very well. So what we are going to do? Instead of 35, you will be charged for, you will ask for 45,000 because your house property is decorated very well. So that 45,000 is your standard rent. Now again, in India, we try to negotiate for every amount. So you said 45,000. So tenant will try to negotiate with you, and you both will come and arrive at the one price which will call as 40,000. So that 40,000 is your actual rent, which is actually received by the SSC. Okay, so that is your actual rent. Okay, now every time whenever you are received any rent or you are receiving any rent, for example, I have rented for 12 months. Out of 12 months, I have received rent for 8 months. Okay. And 4 months rent has to be received. So that is receivable part. Now, the tenant is saying, I cannot pay for 1 month rent. I cannot pay for 1 month rent. So that you have realized that 1 month cannot be realized from the tenant. So that will be called as unrealized rent. That will be called as unrealized rent. So whenever you're getting unrealized rent, you have to deduct that amount. Okay. Now, as per provision, what do you mean by unrealized rent? I will be explaining. Just wait. Rent received, you have to add. Rent receivable, you have to add. You have to minus unrealized rent. In whatever amount you are receiving, that is your actual rent. Okay. Now, how to call it is unrealized rent. Okay. हाँ वैकेंसी आएगा स्टूडेंट्स डोंट वरी जस्ट वेट okay unrealized rent if there is four conditions are satisfied then it is called as unrealized rent. I will be giving one example okay then we will come to this condition. For example there is a Mr. A he was rented in my house property for 12 months. He just paid me 8 months rent. He was supposed to pay me 4 months rent okay now he is not paying me rent. Every day I'm asking Are, pay me rent, pay me rent, pay me rent. He's like, I will be paying tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow. So one day what I did, I just shouted at him, why not paying me rent, ye, wo, this, that, I shouted. Next day he left the house property and he went to the some other place. Okay. I was having agreement with him, that rent agreement, Okay. Now he left my house property, he went somewhere. I'm searching him where he is. My 4 months rent is remaining. Where he went? I tried to talk to his friends, his relatives, his family members. I check in my rent agreement is any address is given. I find out there also he was not there. I tried to catch him from police and all. Everything I tried. I didn't came to know. But I only came to know that he is staying somewhere in Chennai city. Somewhere in Chennai city is staying. Now in Chennai also I have my house property. In Chennai also I have my one house property. But he is not staying in my Chennai house property. But he is not staying in my Chennai house property. Where he is staying I don't know. But he is staying somewhere in Chennai. So now I had made agreement with him, right? Rent agreement. So that is your bona fide tenancy. Now he left my house property. So he vacated my house property. Now he went to the Chennai. How I came to know? I have taken reasonable steps to find out about to recover rent from him. Right now I came to know that he is Chennai, but he is not staying in my my house property in Chennai. So should not occupy any other house property of same assets. Okay. So of all this point, 4 point is satisfied, then that is your unrealized rent. If all these 4 points is satisfied, then it is your unrealized rent. If any of point from this or 4 point is not satisfied, then that is your arrears of rent. Then that is your arrears of rent. Okay. So students keep in your mind whenever you are receiving arrears of rent as well as unrealized rent, both are here I have to mention both arrears of rent and unrealized rent both. So whatever rent you are received, you have to multiply with 70%. You have to multiply with 70%. Okay. Why 70%? 70% because 30% is the standard deduction. 30% is the standard deduction. Okay. So remaining part is your 70%. Remaining part is your 70%. Okay. So 30% will be deducted as a standard deduction, on only 70% will be counted. Okay. So that is the reason whatever arrears of rent, whatever unrealized rent you have received, you have to multiply with 70%. Okay. Okay. Now some of students was asking, sir, what about vacancy? I have mentioned about vacancy. First of all, try to understand what you mean by term called vacancy. When it is called as vacancy. For example, your house property is completely empty. For example, I stay somewhere in some city near to station and I want to give a house property and rent to some person for 12 months. But what happened? Some people had made the rumors about my house property that it is a haunted place. Some haunted things are there. I'm trying to give on rent on. I'm trying to contact and every day says every person comes and they're like, "Arey, this is haunted place. We cannot stay. This that this that." So all this way, 4 months has completed. After 4 months, some person can. He was ready. He said, "Okay, sir, I will stay here. I will pay certain amount this rent. If it is okay, then I will be staying here." So I was ready with the rent also. So now what happened? Out of 12 months, remaining 4 months, out of 12 months, 4 months as the house property was vacant. Vacant means I was not using for self-occupied purpose. I have not given someone to let out purpose. Okay. So that 4 months, it was not neither the LOP or the SOP. It was completely empty. So that is called as vacancy. So in this case, only remaining 8 months will be given on rent. So whenever the vacancy concept comes, we have to compare this way. How to compare, students? We have to compare the expected rent part with your actual rent plus vacancy. You have to compare with your expected rent part with the actual rent plus vacancy. If your expected rent is more, then your gross annual value will be expected rent. If your expected rent is more, then your gross annual value will be expected rent. If your expected rent is less than or equals to actual rent plus vacancy, then your gross annual value will be actual rent without vacancy. Then your gross annual value will be actual rent without vacancy. Okay. So what is the point here? At the time of comparison, you have to consider both actual rent as well as vacancy both. But at the time of recording, you have to take only actual rent, that is without vacancy. Okay, students, even if some of you have not understood this vacancy concept, I will try to cover it with one sum, because this is something which is can be understood by practically some of you. So even if some of you have a doubt like 80% samjha sir, 20% nahi samjha, I will help, don't worry. So now next go to the next provision. Next provision is related to your municipal tax. Municipal tax. See, what do you mean by municipal tax? So this is some amount of tax which is paid to the municipal authority, that is local authority, which is also termed as government authority. So now what is happening here? I have already paid some amount of tax to the government. Why to pay again tax on that amount? So what department income tax provision says, whatever municipal tax you have paid, you have to deduct it. You can check with the statement. We deduct the municipal tax part here. Okay. So municipal tax part you have to deduct. Okay. Now there are some points related to municipal tax we will discuss. Okay. If the municipal tax amount is given in the percentage, then that percentage to be multiplied with municipal value only. If this municipal tax is given with in percentage, you have to multiply with municipal value. See what happens, students, this municipal tax is written next to gross annual value. In a hurry up in the exam, what we do, we multiply with the gross annual value, which is completely wrong. I have checked, so many people do this thing. They multiply with gross annual value, which is completely wrong. If the municipal tax is given in percentage, students, please multiply with municipal value. Now next point. Municipal taxes paid for any year, such as previous year, current year, next year, will be allowed as a deduction for the year in which it is paid. For example, your previous year is 1920. Your previous year is 1920. Okay. So on 1920, I had paid in the year 1920. I had paid municipal tax for 1819, 1920 and 2021. 3 साल का मैंने पे कर दिया. एक साल पहले का, करंट ईयर का, नेक्स्ट ईयर. So 10,000 for 1819, 20,000 for 1920, 30,000 for 2021. So whole total amount of 60,000 will be allowed as deduction in the year 1920. Reason, you had paid total 60,000 in the year 1920 itself. Okay. So whether it is related to any year, your municipal tax, it will be allowed as deduction in the year which it is paid. Okay, students. Now always keep in your mind, municipal tax is something which is only allowed on paid basis. If it is paid, then only allowed. Then only allowed to deduct as a expenses. Allowed to deduct as a expenses. Claim as a deduction. If it is not paid, if it is unpaid, then not allowed. Then it is disallowed to claim as a deduction. Okay. Now third point. Penalty interest on municipal tax will not be allowed as deduction. Okay. Now what happens, for example, I was supposed to pay the municipal tax up to the 1st of June. But I had paid on 15th June. I had paid on 15th June. Now what is happening here? I had paid 15-14 days late. So paying this 15-14 days late, I will be chargeable for penalty. I will be chargeable for municipal tax. So that penalty on municipal tax is not liable for any kind of deduction. Any penalty, any interest on municipal tax is not liable for deduction. Only and only amount of municipal tax paid will be liable for deduction. Now next point, municipal tax will be allowed only if it is directly or indirectly paid by the owner. Now keep in your mind this point, income from house property is received by the owner. So expenses should also to be covered by owner only. For example, I clearly said municipal tax if it is unpaid is disallowed, paid only then allowed. But paid by who? Owner. Directly or indirectly, always owner. Now I have given some example to all of you. Let's check. Now here what is happening? Owner has paid the municipal taxes and recovered the taxes from the tenant. So what is happening? Owner stays somewhere near to the municipal office. He works in ABC Limited, and he works in ABC Limited, and ABC Limited is near to the municipal office. Okay. So what he decided, early morning when I will go to the office, I will go and pay the municipal tax. So he went 15 minutes before from his office, and he went to the municipal office and he paid that municipal tax. And same day at the night or next day at the night or whenever, he recovered the same amount of municipal tax from the tenant. So what is happening here? Here indirectly tenant is paying the municipal tax, not directly, indirectly. So this is not allowed, because this actual municipal tax has been taken from the tenant pocket. So this is disallowed. Now every time owner has to pay. See, second case, not recovered from tenant. So what is happening? Owner has paid the municipal tax from his pocket and not recovered from tenant. He is not taken anything in return related to municipal tax from the tenant. So it is allowed as deduction. Reason, who is paying this municipal tax? Owner is paying. Now paid by the tenant. Tenant ने पे किया तो क्या करेंगे सर? So tenant is paying and is recovering from the owner. For example, early morning is tenant is also work somewhere near to municipal office. Early morning he was going to the office. He paid some amount of rent, some amount of municipal tax, and the same amount of municipal tax he recovered from the owner. Okay, so actually this municipal tax is taken from owner's pocket. So that is allowed. That is allowed because indirectly paid by the owner. In third case, in next case, not recovered from the owner. It means tenant has paid the municipal tax, but he is not recovering from owner. So that is always and always disallowed. Always and always disallowed. Okay. Now this is there. Municipal tax to be paid by owner directly or indirectly. Always owner has to pay. Now standard deduction. Now students, I would like to say to all of you in a simple manner. Only municipal tax and interest loan is allowed as deduction. Only municipal tax and interest on loan is allowed as a deduction. The remaining part, the remaining income is not allowed as a deduction. Sorry, remaining expenses is not allowed as a deduction. Reason, remaining expenses, for example, repairs, ground rent, lift charges, maintenance charges, all this have to be ignored. Reason, instead of all these expenses, you will be getting your standard deduction of 30%. So, except municipal tax and interest on loan, all other expenses to be ignored. And instead of all other expenses, standard deduction 30% will be allowed. Standard deduction 30% will be taken on net annual value. This net annual value. This net annual value. Okay, students. Chalo. Now, next point is interest on loan, which is very important. Just give me a 1 minute. Okay. Now, interest on loan point is there. Now, what do you mean by interest on loan? For example, any bank, any family member, any friend, any relative or anyone, for repairing of my house property, for repairing of my house property, for purchase property, for construction of my, and whatever interest I'm paying on that loan will be liable for deduction. Liable for deduction in this case. Okay. It means loan taken for repairs, renovation, purchase or construction, taken from bank, financial institution, friends, family, relative, anyone will be allowed as deduction. And interest is always allowed on due basis. It means whether paid or unpaid, it is always allowed. Okay. And the next one they are saying, if the interest is paid outside India, then compulsory you have to deduct TDS on that interest amount. Compulsory you have to deduct TDS amount, TDS on that interest. If you are not deducting the TDS on that interest, then interest is not allowed as a deduction. This is only in the case when you are paying outside India. If you are paying interest outside India, then compulsory you have to deduct with TDS. Then only it is allowed. If you are not deducting TDS, not allowed. This is done. Now this point I will be explaining to all of you. For example, what is happening here? Uh, just 1 minute. I will try to check if I have any notes related. Making a diagram will take time. Just 1 minute. So I have to give one example. Just 1 minute. So I will type. It will be better. This is Students, do one thing. Just take a screenshot of this thing I'm saying. Just 1 minute. Students, please take screenshot of all these things. Section 6, subsection 2 and section 6, subsection 3. Now this part, take a screenshot. ठीक है, ये आप लोग रीड करना. चलो, now we will go to that point. This is there. Interest paid on fresh loan and fresh loan has taken to repay the earlier loan. It is allowed as deduction if the earlier loan is related to purchase and construction repairs renovation of the house property. So I will be explaining to all of you in one good example. For example, on 26 June 2016, I have taken loan. I have taken loan of rupees 10 lakh. Okay, for purchase of house property from Mr. A. Okay. So, my name is Mr. B. I have taken loan from Mr. A of rupees 10 lakh on purchase of house property. Okay. Mr. A was my one of good friend. Okay. So, I am taking from my friend loan for purchase of house property. Okay. Loan for purchase of house property. So, whatever interest I am paying, that will be allowed as deduction. Yes, it will be allowed as a deduction. Now, what is happening? Mr. A has required the urgency of amount. After 2 years, Mr. A is saying, see Mr. B, I'm in a very urgency. I want my 10 lakh rupees back. So what I thought, what to do now? How to pay him 10 lakh rupees? I don't have immediate cash. So I talked to my one of my friend Mr. C, and I told him, Mr. C, I need 10 lakh rupees immediately to pay someone. So Mr. C has given me 10 lakh rupees, and then 10 lakh rupees I had paid to Mr. A. So what is here happening? I have taken earlier loan. Earlier loan was related to purchase an house property. Now what I am doing? I am taking a fresh loan. I am taking one more fresh loan, and that fresh loan I am taking and taking for repayment of the earlier loan. That fresh loan I am taking for repayment of the earlier loan, and earlier loan was related to purchase of house property. Earlier loan was related to purchase of house property. So whatever the interest I am paying for the fresh loan, that will be allowed as a deduction. Whatever the interest I am paying for the fresh loan, that will be allowed as a deduction. Okay. So if you have taken earlier loan which is related to purchase and construction, and now you are taking a fresh loan to repay that the earlier loan. Okay. So whatever interest you're paying for the fresh loan also will be allowed as a deduction. Okay, that was that point. This is there, yes. Now, what are the amount of limit for interest? Okay, after this interest part, I will take off all your doubts and all. Okay, just wait. Limit for interest part is For LOP and DLOP, there is no limit. For LOP and DLOP, there is no limit. Reason behind that, LOP and DLOP has the all types of income and everything. So there is no limit for LOP and DLOP. So there is always limit for SOP. There is always limit for SOP. Okay. So SOP as of in a normal case limit of rupees 30,000. In special case has a limit of rupees 2 lakh. Limit of rupees 2 lakh. Okay. So special case when all these three conditions are satisfied. Special case when all these three conditions are satisfied. Students asking break, just wait. I will be giving, just wait. Special case when all these three conditions are satisfied. Okay. First condition, when loan is taken on or after 1st April 1999. On or after 1st April 1999. It means if you have taken loan before 1st April 1999, so it is your normal case. If you are taking 1st April 1999 or after, special case. As well as second point also should to be satisfied. Huh? All three to be satisfied. The second point is loan should to be taken either purchase or construction of house property. It means special case is applicable only if it is a purchase and construction case. If it is related to your repairs, if it is related to your renovation, no special case will be applicable. It will be normal case. If it is related to repairs or if it is related to renovation, the normal case. And if it is related to your purchase, related to your construction, then special case. And third case, if loan is taken for construction, then construction should to be completed within 5 years from the end of the financial year where loan has taken. So in this case, for example, I have taken loan on 26th of June 2016. So what is the year end date of 26 June 2016? 31st March 2017. So from 31st March 2017, within 5 years, that is 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 5 years. Within 5 years, your construction should to be completed. If loan is taken for construction, construction should to be completed within 5 years. Okay. So this was your point. Okay. If loan to be taken on or after 1st April 1999, second for purchase or construction, and third if for a construction should be completed within 5 years from the end of the financial year where loan has taken. Now there is one concept called pre-construction. Okay, so pre-construction concept is there. So in case of pre-construction, what happens? This is the last thing. After that, I will be taking doubts and all, and 2 minutes break will allow. Don't worry. Okay. So what happens in pre-construction case? Whatever interest you had paid before completion of the construction of house property, that total amount to be taken in 5 equal installment from the year when construction is completed. For example, I would like to share with all of you one good example. Just a minute. This is the see. You have taken loan for a construction rupees 50 lakh at the rate of 10% on 1st April 2015. And your construction has been completed on 31st March 2018. Your construction has been completed on 31st March 2018. You have taken loan on 1st April 2015. 1st April 2015 means this is your 15-16. And construction is completed on 17-18. Construction is completed on 17-18. So before completion of construction, that is before 17-18, whatever the amount of interest you had paid, whatever the amount of interest you had paid, that total amount will be taken in 5 equal installments. For example, you will start paying interest from 15-16. Reason, you have taken loan from 15-16. So 15-16, 5 lakh, 16-17 also 5 lakh. Okay. Now your construction is completed on 31st March 2018. That is 17-18. So before 17-18 means 15-16 and 16-17. These 2 years interest is paid 5 lakh, 5 lakh each. So total will be 10 lakh. Total will be 10 lakh. Okay. So this 10 lakh will be divided by 5. It's 10 lakh divided by 5. Because you have to take in 5 equal installments. So 10 lakh divided by 5 will be 2 lakh. So this is your pre-construction interest installment. That is interest installment before the construction completed. So now you will start claiming this interest, pre-construction interest installment from the year when construction completed. So your construction completed from the year 1780. So construction completed 1780. So you will start claiming interest deduction from 1718, 18, 19, 1920, 20, 21, 21, 22. So this 5 years you will take 17, 18, 18, 19, 19, 20, 20, 21, 21, 20. Now we are more concerned about 1920 because this is our previous year. So in 1920, what is going to happen? 2 lakh rupees of pre-construction interest that you are going to receive. Okay. And till 1920, did you paid with the loan amount? Did you repaid the loan amount? No. It means still the loan amount is pending. Yes. It means still you have to pay 5 lakh rupees as an interest on loan amount in a current year. Right, sir. 50 lakh का loan है, 10% का interest. Current year you have to pay 5 lakh. So 2 lakh pre-construction interest installment plus 5 lakh current year interest installment. Total 7 lakh will be allowed as a deduction. So total 7 lakh amount will be allowed as a deduction in 1920. How 7 lakh? 2 lakh pre-construction, 5 lakh current year. Okay. So till here we are completed with your interest part. I know you guys are wanted break and everything, and this is also my responsibility to take care not to get mixed up with all the provision. So what I will do, whoever have doubt they will ask doubt, and this will be break for those people who wanted break. The now remaining this part I will complete in just 5 minutes and we will go through one or two sums. Okay, chalo students start asking me doubt related to municipal tax, municipal value, fair rent, interest on loan. Till interest on loan related to house property you can ask me a doubt. Don't worry about notes, students. I will be sending. Surcharge on slab rate will come in the next lectures. Not today, maybe last day of the direct tax. Very good going. So all are clear with notes still here? At least reply yes sir, clear. Arrears of unrealized rent. Arrears of rent and unrealized rent. Okay. And so others are clear. Please reply yes sir, clear. Very good students. Very good. Reply. All of you reply. Construction. So you guys are enjoying the session? Three doubts I have got. Perfect. Chalo. So unrealized rent means if your these four conditions are satisfied, then this is your unrealized rent. So in a general term, I would like to say unrealized rent means some kind of rent which is not going to be received by you, which is not going to be received by the SSC. जिसका पूरा 100% एक्सेप्टेशन हो गया कि वी आर नॉट गोइंग टू रिसीव बट एज पर इनकम टैक्स प्रोविजन this four condition if satisfying then it means this is your unrealized rent, this is your unrealized rent. Okay, first there should to be a bona fide tenancy, matlab you have made an agreement with them. Second, tenant has vacated the house property, it means he left the house property. Third, he should not occupy the any other house property of same SSA. As I mentioned, he went to Chennai, and Chennai I also have my house property, so he is not staying in my house property in Chennai, so he should not occupy the same SSA's other house properties. Fourth and last one, all the reasonable steps has been taken. So I try to recover the rent from him. I try to catch up with police and relatives and etc. So if these four conditions are satisfied, then it is a unrealized rent. Any of this condition is not satisfied, then arrears of rent. For example, there was no agreement, arrears of rent. He is still staying your house property and not giving you rent, arrears of rent. He is staying in some other house property of same SSC, arrears of rent. You have not tried at all to recover the rent, arrears of rent. So if all four conditions satisfy, then unrealized rent. Any of one condition is not satisfied, then arrears of rent. Then every time unrealized rent or arrears of rent receive, 70% you have to charge to taxable amount. Reason, 30% in standard deduction. Okay. This was one doubt. Someone said, sir, can you please repeat the pre-construction part? Before repeating the pre-construction part, limit someone was discussing. Students, LOP, DLOP has no limit. SOP has a limit. In case of SOP, normal case has 30,000 limit. Special case has 2 lakh limit. Amount of rupees 2 lakh. When special case will come? When all these three conditions are satisfied. First, loan is taken on or after 1st April 1999. Second, loan taken for purchase and construction. Third, if loan taken for construction, construction to be completed within 5 years from the end of the financial year when loan is taken. So if you are taking before 1st April 1999, matlab 30,000. On or after 1st April 1999, 2 lakh. Taking for repairs and renovation, 30,000. Taking for purchase construction, 2 lakh. And construction to be completed within 5 years from loan is taken. So loan is taken, for example, on 28 June 2016. Right now. So this year end date will be 31st March 2017. So यहाँ से 5 years मतलब 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So 5 years मतलब 31st March 2022 तक आपका complete होना चाहिए construction. And someone said, sir, can you please explain me again pre-construction part? So this is a pre-construction part. For example, you have taken loan on of rupees 50 lakh at the rate of 10%, which is taken on 1st April 2015. 1st April 2015 means this is a year 15-16. Okay. So, and your construction has been completed in the year 31st March 2018, that is 17-18. So before completing the construction, whatever interest you paid, that total interest you have to take in 5 equal installment. So 17-18 को construction complete हुआ, उसके पहले means 15-16 and 16-17. So 15-16 you paid 5 lakh, 16-17 you paid 5 lakh. So total will be 10 lakh. Right now, 17-18 के पहले 15-16, 16-17 you paid 5 lakh, total will be 10 lakh. So 10 lakh divided by 5. So you will get 2 lakh. So that 2 lakh will be pre-construction interest installment. Okay. So that 2 lakh you will start claiming as a deduction from 17-18, 18-19, 19-20, 20-21, 21-22. That for 5 years. Right? But we are more concerned about 19-20 because that is our previous year. So 1920 is the year, your previous year. So in previous year 1920 you are getting pre-construction part, no doubt. As well as till now you had not paid the loan amount. Till now you have not paid the loan amount. So still you are paying the current year also the interest amount. So on 50 lakh current year you are also paying a 10%. So 50 lakh ka 10% will be 5 lakh. So current year interest will be 5 lakh. So total 5 lakh plus 2 lakh, total interest will be allowed in 1920 will be 7 lakh. 2 lakh was pre-construction part, that is before construction completed part, installment, and 5 lakh was current year interest what you are paying. Okay. So three people, this doubt, whoever was having understood everything, let me check. Pre-construction limit and someone asked about unrealized rent. Snehal, what about deduction 7 lakh? See, LOP, DLOP has no limit, Snehal. You can take the maximum amount interest you want to take deduction in LOP and SOP for interest. But in case of SOP, normal case maximum 30,000, special case maximum 2 lakh. Yeah, Rajkumar, tell me your doubt related to residential and income, scope of total income. Students, don't worry about most important topics and all. Let me teach all of you, then we'll see. Waiting for Rajkumar's doubt related to residential status. Okay. Chalo. Which cases SSC is eligible to claim deduction? See, interest on loan you can claim every time. SOPO, LOPO, there is some limit, but you can claim. And about HRA part, that I will explain in income from salary. Don't worry at all. And someone said, sir, can you explain once again one more sum related to pre-construction? I will try. बेटा लॉस का जो है that is in set off and carry forward. So just wait, that we will take care. Yes, 2 lakh is the maximum deduction. Yes. Concentrate more on your concept theory part. Yes. Someone asked me, can you lend one related first I'm trying because I have also limitation of time. If you know. This is there. See, you have taken loan. You have taken loan on 1st April 2016, 40,000 rupees. Okay. 10% loan. Okay. 40,000 rupees, 10% interest rate. Now construction is completed on 31st March 2020. It means 1920. Okay. So 1920 is the year when your construction is completed. So before 1920, what is the year for which you are interest paying? 16, 17, 17, 18, 18, 19. So you are paying 4,000, 4,000, 4,000 for all these 3 years. So total of this 3 year will be, that is 16, 17, 17, 18, 18, 19. That is 12,000. So 12,000 divided by 5 you have to do. 2,400. Okay. So from the year 1920, that is the year which construction completed, we will start claiming this. 1920, 2021, 21, 22, 22, 23, 23, 24 for 5 years. We will take 2,400 pre-construction installment. That now we are more focused on 1920 because that is your previous year. So 2,400 will be pre-construction part plus 4,000 will be your current year interest. Reason, 40,000 is the loan amount which is unpaid. This is not yet paid. So still you are paying interest on it. So 4,000 is current year interest. So current year plus pre-construction total will be 6,400 will be allowed as a deduction. I hope person who said, sir, can you explain one more sum? Leena Patnakar. I hope you are clear with this sum, Leena. Please reply once you're clear. So now, remaining concept, we have very limitation of time, students. Remaining concepts. First concept is a partly let out and partly self-occupied of a house property area wise. Some of student was asking, sir, floor है, एक building business के लिए use किया है, residential तो क्या करना है? See, there is a one house property. House property was on the name of Mr. A. Now, after the death of Mr. A, that house property is given to the son, is transferred to the sons of Mr. A, that is B and sons of the Mr. A, that is X and Y. So X has got 60% share, Y has got 40% share. X has got 60%, Y has got 40%. So now what they are doing, same house property, 60% is with X, 40% is with Y. So X is someone who is the poor person. So what he is doing? He is giving that house property on rent. He is taking house property for self-occupied purpose. So X is a poor person, is having a 60% area, so he's taking house property for self-occupied purpose. And the B is some stable person, is giving that 40% area to the rent. So what is happening? There is a one house property, and it has been divided in area wise. One area for SOP, one area for LOP. So in this case, what we are going to do, all the incomes, all types of income like your municipal value, fair rent, standard rent, municipal tax, interest on loan, everything will be divided as per your area wise. Okay, all income will be divided as per area. That is 60% SOP municipal value, plus 40% SOP, of 60% of municipal value in SOP, 40% of municipal value in LOP. Now all the income and expenses will be divided 60-40, but only actual rent will not be divided. Actual rent will not be divided. Reason, actual rent has been received only for the house property of actual let out. So that will only recorded in LOP. Okay. So this was the case when your house property is partly let out, partly self-occupied area wise. Now next is partly let out and partly self-occupied of house property time wise. Time wise हम लोग उसको किसी को let out करें. Okay. एक ही house property है. Okay. For example, I stay somewhere in Lonavala, which is a tourist spot, and I have a 10 bedrooms, like big house property I have. So what I'm doing, out of 12 months, 8 months I occupied whole 10 bedrooms. But at the time of rainy season, when so many tourists visits to the Lonavala, what I do, out of 10, 6 house property I let out. 6 house property I let out for 4 months. And remaining 8 months I use as a self-occupied. So what is happening? Partly let out, partly self-occupied, but time-wise. Half time self-occupied, half time let out. Okay. So what is given in the provision is, if you are letting out the house property even for a single one day, even for a single one day, you have let out the house property, so it will be treated as LOP. It will be treated as LOP. Even for one day you had let out the house property, it will be treated as LOP. Okay. So this was area wise, time wise, right? Joint ownership. Now what is happening in joint ownership? It's very simple. In joint ownership, what is happening? There is a house property of Mr. A. After the death of Mr. A, that house property is given to the Mr. X and Y sons. So now they have not separated the house property. What they are doing, they are rich, they are good. What they decided, we'll do one thing. We'll together rent this house property to some other person. Then whatever rent we receive, half we will share with both of us. X by 50%, Y 50%. Or 60-40. X 60%, Y 40%. So in this case, there has not been any division of area. So full house property is let out to some other person, and the same house property having a two owners or more than two owners, co-owners. So what we are going to do, there is no division of area. Yes sir, no. So full treat normally how we calculate income from house property, calculate it. Municipal value, fair rent, higher, whichever is, then standard rent, whichever is lower, then actual rent, and sub calculate kar lo. Then whatever the taxable income is received, that income will be distributed between the all the co-owners in their co-owner ratio. For example, X was having the 60% ownership, Y was having the 40% ownership. So whatever the income is there, that income 60% part will be given taxable in the hands of X, and 40% part will be taxable in the hands of Y. So that is your co-ownership. So in this case, we will calculate normally. At the end, whatever income you will receive, that income will be distributed on between them in the co-ownership ratio. Now next is composite rent. Composite rent means there is a house property as well as other assets taken on rent. For example, I am taking a furnished flat on a rent. Furnished flat means rent house property as well as sofa, bed, TV, AC. Okay. So this sofa, bed, AC is the other assets, and there is a house property. One more example. For example, I am taking some classroom on rent to run some coaching classes and etc. So I have taken classroom as well as benches, whiteboard, projector, everything on rent. So what is happening here? House property as well as other assets has been taken on the rent. house property as well as other assets has been taken on a rent. So this will called as composite rent. This will called as composite, where house property as well as other assets has been taken on rent. That will be called as composite rent. Now, in the case of composite rent, you have to make a separate agreement for it. You have to make a separate agreement for house property, separate agreement for your other assets, right? For example, for house property, you are charging 40,000. For other assets, you are charging a 10,000. So you have to make a two agreements: 40,000 for house property agreement, 10,000 for other assets agreement. So it's completely fine. So whatever house property income, that will be taxable income from house property, and 10,000 other assets income will be taxable income from other sources. Always other sources. Very rarely case where PGBP comes, but always other sources. But what if you have not made a separate agreement? You have made a combined agreement for both house property and other assets both. So in that case, whole amount 50,000 will be taxable under that income from other sources. So what we have to do, we have to calculate the income. We have to make a separate agreement for house property and other assets. House property income will be taxable income from house property. Other assets income will be taxable income from other sources. And you have make a same agreement for both, then it will be taxable under that income from other sources. So here we are done with the important concept, four concept: area wise, time wise, joint ownership, composite rent. Chalo students, anyone any doubt of these 4 points? Yes, concentrate on provision as much as possible, and also also try to check with sums also, not solving and all, at least but go through. You should understand at least basic sum solve karo. Students, any doubt? If you're clear with all doubts, please reply on chat section. Sir, we are clear. Chalo, mark this sum as important. I'm telling which one, just wait. Question number 13, which is on, as per my PDF, it is on page number 139. Mark this is important. Reason, this is your amendment sum. Okay. Now, also check once before going to the exam. Question number 17. Because this is something area wise and time wise. Okay. Chalo, so I will try to just go through with this sum at least one. Deemed owner concept you can skip. It's not so important. That will be covered in the clubbing section. There it will be. So for the time being, it is not so important. What if person takes 4 flats in a building, combines them? Will it consider a single house property or 4 house property? See, it depends upon the agreement now. As who asked Aishwarya Pillai. Aishwarya, it depends upon the agreement. If you have 4 separate flats, still you are trying to combine it. Okay. So as per agreement, if you have a 4 flats, so it will be treated as 4 different house property, even if you break the walls and combine it. Okay. Chalo, very good, very good. Tomorrow topic. Students, tomorrow salary, other sources, probably capital gain also I will try. Business I need enough time, so I think so won't be possible for tomorrow. But 3 topics we will cover it. First 1 hour salary, second hour your other sources and capital gain. Second remaining 2 hours about the other sources and capital gain. Okay. Same way we will continue. Break में ही we will ask doubts and all. So I can assume all of you are clear with the first of all, introduction of tax system in India, basic concept income tax, then your residential status, then your scope of total income, then your income from house property. Set of rule is there, Sudhil. Just give me a some day, 1 or 2 days. Last day I will be explaining this set of part. Chalo, 144 ka ek sum just we will go through. What they have given. Miss Paro has a house property having the 2 separate residential unit. So one house property has a 2 units. Unit A is a 40% total area and unit B is a 60% of total area. A is self-occupied and B is let out. A part is occupied, B part is let out to Shri Devdas for a monthly rent of rupees 3,000. With the following further information, compute are the taxable income. See now what is happening? There is a one house property, and from one house property 40% is self-occupied and 60% is let out. So what we are going to do, we are going to divide all this amount in that ratio. Okay, just 1 minute, I have solution in my way of this sum. Just need some time to search. That was 17 students. Yeah, this is. So see your municipal value. What was your municipal value? 1 lakh. So out of 1 lakh, 60% in LOP, 40% SOP. SOP में तो amount ही नहीं आता. Then fair calculator रखो साथ में. Then fair rent is 1 lakh 20. So 1 lakh 20 का you can see 60% here, 72. Then you will consider whichever is higher. So higher part will be 72. Now again standard rent. How much amount of standard rent is 2 lakh. 2 lakh का 60% will be 1 lakh 20. 1 lakh 20 लिया, दोनों में से whichever is lower. So lower will be 72,000. Now actual rent के लिए they said 3,000 per month. So 3,000 into 12, 36,000 is your actual rent. Now दोनों में से whichever is higher. So higher will be 72. Now you will deduct municipal tax. Municipal tax you will take. They have given 10% of students. So that 10% to be multiplied with the municipal value. So municipal value is 60,000. 60,000, 10% will be 6,000. Okay. So 72,000 minus 6,000 will be 66,000. Now standard deduction is 30%. So 66,000 multiplied by 30% is 90,800. Okay. Now interest on loan. See, check in the question. Interest on loan they said 30,000. So 30,000 part 60% will be in LOP and 40% will be SOP. So 30,000 ka 60% is 18,000, 40% is 12,000. So after calculating this part, 66,000 minus this 2, taxable income in LOP is 28,200 and in SOP negative 12,000. So ये दोनों को set off करोगे. 28,200 minus SOP का 12,000, then your net income is 16,200. So this is your main answer. 16,200 is the main answer. Okay. Don't worry about the solution and all. I will be sending. Just give me 1, 2, 3 days. Once we are done with the sessions and all, we will. I will be sending all the notes. Sir, just give me 5 minutes more. 5, 6 minutes. I will finish with one more sum. Then we can end with the session. Then question number 13, one more we will try. Just 5 minutes, sir.
Sir, you can take, sir, time is not, you can take half an hour also. No issue.
Okay, okay. So I will do that thing from tomorrow onwards. Just for today, I have after 12 also session. So tomorrow onwards, I will keep myself free after 12 also. And we will continue. Okay, chalo. So question number 13 is there. Question number 13 is very important, students. See what is given in question number 13. Mr. Pandey is the owner of 3 houses in Chennai. Furnish the following information. Compute his income from house property for the assessment year 2021. So now you can check there are 3 house property and all 3 house property has been used for self-occupied purpose. So this is not acceptable. Maximum 2 you have to treat as the SOP. Maximum 2 you can treat it as the SOP. Okay. So maximum 2 we will treat it as a SOP. So which 2 has to be treated as SOP? Students, this is very important. Which 2? So what we are going to do, I will be explaining to all of you. Just a minute, students. See this one. What I have did, I've calculated normally income of all 3 house property. How we calculate for DLOP? Same way I have calculated for all 3 house property incomes. Okay. After this, just a minute, just a minute. We will calculate income for all 3. After this calculating the income, we will give them a ranking. We will give them a ranking on the basis of the total income. On the basis of total income. आप मुझे एक बात बताओ ना. Which house property would you would like to treat a SOP? That house property on which you don't want to pay a tax. Reason? If you are treating a SOP, so on that SOP house property you don't have to pay the tax. So you will treat that house property as a SOP on which you would like to not to pay a tax. So on which house property you would like not to pay a tax? Which has a more income. Which has a more income. Okay. So what we will do? We will calculate the normal way income of the house property. Normal way of taxable income. After calculation, जैसे कि मैंने ये first calculate किया, second calculate किया, third calculate किया. After calculation, I will be giving a ranking on the basis of income. For example, for third house property has the maximum income. So this will be rank 1. Second house property has the second maximum income. So this will be rank 2. And third has the lowest income. So this will be rank 3. This will be rank 3. Okay. Now, as per the ranking, I am going to decide which to be taking an SOP, which to be taking an SOP, DLOP. So maximum I can take 2. So what I will do, which has the maximum income, that I will treat as a SOP. So maximum income was the house property number 3. So that I am going to treat as a SOP. Then second maximum was the house property number 2. So this is I am going to treat as a SOP. And the lowest income has by the house property number 3. So that I am going to treat as a DLOP. Okay. So for this kind of sums where all 3 or all 5 house property is a SOP, so you have to consider, you have to calculate income in a normal way. Then you have to rank as per the total taxable income, which has the maximum taxable income, that you will rank 1. Second maximum will be treated as rank 2. And third maximum will be treated as rank 3. Now, maximum rank 1 and rank 2 will be treated as SOP and the remaining will be treated as DLOP. Reason? Maximum you can treat 2 SOP. Okay. Now, after this was also your calculation part, no doubt. But this is not your main answer. So main answer is here. After this, what I am doing? House property number 1 is DLOP. DLOP का income कितना है students? 1 lakh. Okay. House property 2 and 3 is SOP. And in case of SOP, you get only a interest amount deduction. So interest amount 2 and 3. Very good. 2 and 3, you can see interest in 2 is 1 lakh 70. For 3 is 1 lakh 65. So what I am going to do, 1 lakh 70 I am writing here for house property 2. 1 lakh 65 I am writing here for house property 3. दोनों का total किया. Total was 3,35,000. 3,35,000 is the total amount. Now, what is the limit for SOP in case of special case? You can check in the question. This is your special case for because it is taken for purchase and taken off after 1st April 1999. So this is your special case. So limit is students 2 lakh. Even if you paid 3,35,000, you can claim maximum 2 lakh. Reason it is your SOP. So you will consider whichever is lower. So 3 lakh 35 or 2 lakh, lower part will be 2 lakh. So what you are going to do? House property 1 DLOP 1000 and lower 2 lakh negative. दोनों को combine किया 1,99,000 negative is the your house property. This loss will be treated in set off and carry forward. Yes, Govind ji, this is applicable for December 2020 attempt. All of you understood with question number 13, question number 17. Please reply. Any doubt in these two some students? Can I assume that you guys are clear with income from house property? You guys are clear with all the basic concept, introduction of tax system, income tax act introduction, then your residential, then your scope, then your house property interest and everything. And even this question number 13 and 17, which as I have mentioned as a important. Are you guys clear with till here? Please reply soon. Okay. So what we will be doing in tomorrow's session, I will try to take more longer. I will talk to the authorities and I will take care of it. And tomorrow's target is students. Keep in your mind. Tomorrow target is salary, other sources, capital gain, minimum this three topic. Okay, minimum this three topic we have to complete tomorrow. So before coming for tomorrow's session, revise all this thing and ask me doubt if anything related to this what we studied tomorrow, and keep notes with all of you for tomorrow's lecture. Okay, so sir,
Thank, thank you, sir.
thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much for
Thank you,
your.
Manjari sir. Thank you, Virak sir. See you all. Thank you, Institute. Thank you, students, all of you. See you all in next lecture. Bye, everyone. Thank you. Take care. Have a nice day. Study well. All the best, students.
Thank you, sir.
So I can leave the meeting, right?
Yes, sir.
Manjari sir.